Hey, what's up? Just checking all my audio levels real quick. We're all good. Cool. Well met, I'm Cynycal. Welcome to my channel. This is the home of COFH RPG. Right now we are doing Other Skies. You can see that above me right now. It's a gritty science fiction game set in a setting of our own creation using a custom setup based on Cepheus Engine and Traveler, with a few little custom bits and bobs in there as well. Because this is a tabletop role-playing stream, we'll mostly be focusing on the game, so if we don't get a response in chat, just know that we really appreciate you being here and taking part in our streams. Everybody is welcome. Let's just keep it civil down there in the chat. Sorry, I scared you, Dragon. Nice to meet you, by the way. Let's go ahead and switch over to... Yeah, I jumped out right away. Let's switch over to my players and introduce them all. Alright, you can see some of the roles from last time down below. This is technically the third session of this main campaign, but just to give a little bit of backstory on the campaign here, we had two mini campaigns before this that kind of set the timeline of the world that took place about 100 years apart or so. So this is kind of, in some ways, like our, I don't know, 10th session or something in the world, but it's really the third session in the main big campaign. So these are my friends here, and together we're COFH RPG. That's a group of people that have been playing games together in connected worlds for decades in some cases. So let's go ahead and get to introducing them all. First of all, he's played a tavern keeper who once helped slay 2 cosmic dragons, a grizzled space detective that planted a psychic tree, and a feeder of 2 hit dice ghouls. They usually solve my puzzles. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself there, Venom, as well as tell us a little bit about Paris and how we got to here.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Lord Venom 1. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm a big fan of science fiction, as well as role-playing, and we're relatively new to Traveler, but enjoying it. We've played a couple campaigns now, so enjoying that. I play Paris Harcrow. She is was a studious young lady, went to college on Luna, became a successful reporter, and then decided that she wanted to get a little more hands-on. So she joined up with this crew, and they are just starting their travels.
Awesome.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. All right. I don't know how, but following that, we've got a person who's been a Megacorp heir searching for their lost parents before, a ruin-delving historian seeking to prove their father's theories, and a reluctant space captain who was an expert at crash landings. Good friend of mine and a member of Screen Room as well, which is another Discord community you can join. MadCow234, why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself and your character Isaac over there.
Yeah, hey, I'm Matt Cow. Yeah, we watch it on Screen Room Discord sometimes, a couple times a week. I don't actually know if you can get to there through here anywhere, but yeah.
I think you can via my Discord. Or,
yeah, maybe.
Or maybe like through yours.
Yeah. As far as Isaac goes, Isaac kind of pretty smart guy, went to college, university, and became a chemist and astrogator. So that's kind of what he's doing. Moved to Luna to hang out with Paris, essentially, and her friend, and get off Earth, because Earth sucks, and went to Luna, and then continued going out into space with Paris, and it's been fun. We'll see what happens from now on.
So for clarification's sake, around that, yeah, here in Traveler, Cepheus Engine system territory, the characters are created through a life path method where they literally have to like try to get into college and all this different stuff. So you try and do these things, but you never know where you're going to end up in Traveler. It's not necessarily choice based. It's more like you actually have to make these rolls. And so each of these characters, by the point they even started, already had kind of a bit of a history, which is really interesting part of the game. All right, next up, They've played an amnesiac psychic experiment with a great haircut, a pacifistic space urchin obsessed with an old television series, and a wild man with an upset tummy. First character he played was somebody else's. It's Society. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself here? They're also a member of Screen Room.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? I'm Society. Catch me in Screen Room. It's pretty cool. We started on Twitch, but we moved to Discord, and I really like it there. It's a lot better. We can stream whatever we want, so including really, really bad shit that we turn off halfway through. So
yeah, sometimes to the detriment of the audience. Yeah,
That was a good one.
we had to like, it was the funnel. We were just seeing who would stick around.
It was a funnel, and nobody made it.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Including the DMs.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. I play Lean Wigram in this campaign. Pretty excited about her. I think hopefully she's got the skills to do what I see her doing, but this is Traveler, so we're gonna find it out. Basically.
True enough.
Yeah. I'm excited where this campaign's going though. I like our sci-fi. We do good sci-fi, I think. So I'm excited.
Lean is now essentially trying to claim ownership of a ship of their own at this point. So there's sort of a desperate race towards that. But we'll get to the actual details of that in a few. We'll be talking about that after the intro and everything. But we need to finish introducing everybody. So finally, they've played a traveling hedge wizard that sealed themselves away for a very long time, an alien merchant engineer with a very incompatible sleeping pattern, and a 3-foot-tall homicidal former prisoner. One of my oldest friends and a moderator for all these different channels. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself and your character there, Psycho?
Hello,
That's
I'm
his
Psycho.
name. I'm not calling him that. Yeah.
I myself am basically a gamer. I play mostly video games, but I do GM my own tabletop group, IRL. This character, I'm still getting used to him. But he's supposed to be like a flyboy pilot for the ship, so I don't know. I'm really interested to see where this campaign's gonna go, though. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
interesting mix of ingredients here and the alchemy that makes up a party of player characters, right? It's always, you never know exactly what you're gonna get when you put a bunch of them together, even with a system like this where you make them at the same time. It's sort of like an improv jazz kind of thing that plays out. But yeah, so we'll be right back after our intro with this week's episode of Other Skies. This is the 2512 edition, I guess you could call it, because we've had so many of those. But anyway, we'll be back soon.
The year's 2512 and humanity lives among the stars. Used to be folks thought that when we got there we'd reach out and those stars would melt away all our problems. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. No, we took them all out there with us into the dark, where they could mutate and fester. Thing is, we took the beauty too, all the splendor and majesty that we could muster. Couldn't even say how many worlds we live on now. We've always been heading for an ugly end. Might just be we found ourselves a new beginning.
All right, we're back. The sound stopped, though. I need to fix the sound. Sorry about that. There we go. Should be kicking in. There it is. Excellent. Okay. Sorry about that little break there. Thanks for the compliment, Dragon. I appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to start this by giving kind of a brief rundown of last session and as few details as possible, and I want you guys to fill in those details with what you think is important and like the big moments, etc., because it's, I think, important to hear a lot of the recap from the player's perspective, a lot more than it is the DM's perspective for a lot of these things. So let's jump into that. GM, I should say, not DM. We're not playing D&D here. So yes, that was a combative statement. No, I don't mean that. I don't care. So anyway,
Shots fired.
Shots fired. That's why we're playing in the TTRPG category instead of the D&D category.
Yeah, that's right. Someone got really mad at us one time.
That's funny. That's true. Like 2 years ago. All right. So in our previous sessions, we had the group gather. Again, I'm very high level strokes here, broad strokes. They have them gather towards Earth and head towards Mars on a job, because one of them had access due to their previous jobs and stuff to a chance to purchase essentially a ship, which is actually fairly rare. It was a large potential discount. Could be relative to it. 2 million credits towards the purchase of that ship. In order to operate a ship, yeah, nothing wrong with D&D, but I feel you. Yeah, so towards the purchase of this ship, and is a limited kind of opportunity to claim it due to kind of the bureaucracy of things. Ownership of a larger vessel is quite rare for individuals. It's quite common for like megacorps and stuff like that, and there are subsidized crews out there plenty, but they were trying to get a hold of something of their own. That was kind of their one chance to do this, and none of them were in a position of being from a particularly rich family or one of the heirs of one of these megacorps or anything like that, to sort of make that an opportunity. So they're having to sort of bootstrap it. So eventually find themselves making some shady deals to try to do what they can to claim something along the lines of this ship. They make their way from Earth to Mars, to Deimos specifically, and on a station above orbit of Deimos, they got they got themselves together a delivery mission, essentially, for some very hazardous materials, which they botched the loading process of and actually irradiated themselves quite badly as part of that process. But the job that they were on from Earth was to meet somebody at Deimos and essentially but to go claim a package somewhere in an undisclosed location, essentially to steal it or whatever, but steal it from those that had stolen it previously, claim it and bring it to another station over in the Jovian system, so near Jupiter. They had so specifically in Ganymede, actually orbit around Ganymede, so there's a set of 2 stations there. Prospera Station is where they need to get it to, but all the stuff has to go through the harbor station, so there's a whole smuggling situation that they'll have to play out. But they made it into the asteroid belt where this location was at. They hid their vessel away that they had that had contaminated them and irradiated them to the point of having to use like cancer medications. Hid their vessel away and used one of the smaller landers to sneak into this asteroid base, as it turned out, a hidden asteroid base that had some interesting cargo within, where they had a strange encounter, some odd events that transpired, and then quickly got away as quickly as they could, with the fear of big explosions behind them. So again, broad strokes here. That's pretty much where we left off, and then our camera's eye saw something that our players did not. So that's the only bits I'm gonna give. Now, I'd like to hear the perspective of our players on here. Feel free to start filling in things in, and I'll roll dice on who, if nobody volunteers, I guess.
Well, I was pretty much a badass hacker, and
That's right.
hacked the most complex door panel I've ever encountered. But we got in undetected. I guess we got out undetected. Our exit was pretty sick, honestly. Our approach, how we used the rotation of the asteroid.
That's right.
To hide the base from noticing us as we got closer in the landers. Oh, I can't hear you, Venom.
If you're talking, Venom, we can't hear you.
Video Ninja.
We're down.
Yeah, we basically only fired our jets when the base was turned away, so that in theory they couldn't easily see
See the
us.
plume.
Yeah.
And we rolled very well.
Well,
Yes.
I kind of flubbed it and then used up more fuel than necessary. So we had to take 3 minutes to refuel before we left, which
Yeah, it's true.
thankfully we were able to.
We stole fuel from the base as well.
Yeah.
Bailey did a lot of heavy lifting with the piloting stuff there, as you guys flew in formation with one another, landing the two landers stealthily in the shadow there, and then clinging to the exterior of this spun up asteroid with magnetic boots and tethers to keep yourself from being flung off into space while you loaded yourselves into the precarious airlock that needed hacking, which you did. So you essentially, it would be like hacking something while hanging upside down, right? Is what that would have felt like. And eventually you succeeded in this, and then made your way inside the airlock, flipped back around, so now you sort of had quarter G gravity, stepped into the interior, and were met with some odd sounds. Who would like to describe what they saw inside?
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, so we really didn't know what to expect. We were specifically, the whole thing was hush hush. We knew we had to find a crate that kind of had a certain kind of coloration and markings. But we went down, we found this sort of strange base that was really ambiguous as far as whose base it was and what it was doing here. But yeah, they had like regular old like lock on the elevator, but then it had on the airlock, but then it had this like super high-tech systems on top of that that were much newer that he was able to hack through. But we go into this facility and some strange things happen. First or even actually one thing I'll mention, on the approach we noticed these weird Cherenkov radiation signatures that were kind of showing up at this place, as well as in one of the Lagrange points out in near Jupiter.
Yeah,
right?
the L5. Yeah.
Yeah, the L5 Lagrange. So we were like seeing what appeared to be like some sort of communications or ship, maybe even like FTL ship type things, which we've heard rumors about.
Right,
but anyway, we come in.
You saw this, and then you saw this one later. And then
right, like that
we're
would
able
have
to do the
coincided
math
with
to
like
figure it
speed
out
of
that it would have been
light
at the exact same time.
times.
Yeah.
Or yeah, simultaneously, but given the speed of
Yeah.
light delay for us to witness it, which was interesting. But we go in and we see some of that same kind of radiation while we're there that happens, and we have this strange experience where our characters swap. Seemingly, our characters don't fully know this yet, but we sort of swap experiences. So like Lean saw one of my
that's the big thing.
some memory and felt like she was in my body, and vice versa, as well as Isaac and Bailey. So it was weird kind of situation, as well as like there were some like worker robots down in there that were like acting super strange. But yeah, we make our way in and eventually see kind of the cargo area that has the crate we need, and then see some strange events kind of happen up from there. And I'm happy to keep going into that. I don't know if you guys want to jump in.
No, I only really remember the memory sharing, so go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And the
but
busted
yeah, so
robots,
we're kind of
I
in
guess,
the on the far side of the hold is another door that kind of is a different entrance. There are multiple entrances thing. And we kind of see this bandit, you know, what we presume to be the pirates or the bandits that were coming to get this crate as well. We knew we were kind of racing someone else to pick up this package here in the asteroid belt. And so we see them, but as we're wondering what the hell we're gonna do, something crazy happens, and the like ceiling of their room that they're in through an airlock, fortunately, is like basically raided by some kind of sophisticated I forget what word you used, a breaching airlock. So like a system that a ship would use to kind of violently make a hole in another ship or somewhere to come aboard, essentially. So they like the ceiling gets ripped off, and these so far fairly strange people in this weird black armor with gold trim that have a strange like symbol with a crook and a mace, and they have strange blue marks down their cheeks. They basically come in, kill the pirates, and then bounce. They talk about setting off a.
They take what they were looking at. They take what they were.
Oh yeah, they had looked inside some crate. They had a crate they'd opened that they were quite excited about, and then they took that and they said some weird things.
See that.
Two dudes puked. They got dizzy and puked.
Yeah, Bailey saw it. So to fill in a little bit of details, Bailey was looking through and saw it. They were like, "What the fuck is this thing?" It was essentially like hovering above the crates very slightly and rearranging itself in these strange like patterns, like blocks or something as it was doing so. They were very confused, and then everybody was hit by a wave of dizziness. Your arm stuff activated, giving you doses. You each kind of almost passed out, but didn't quite. The two guys inside did collapse. And then they did the breaching airlock in, and so they were in there, and they were like, "Oh, they have it." And so they took the thing out the breaching airlock, and they killed the two guys that they knocked out. And then they looked back towards the like little sealed entrance that you were on the other side of, and Bailey was like, "Oh shit!" and like hid, and that's when you guys were like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here." And you saw them plant a nuke, basically, and they exited through the airlock and removed the airlock, so that whole entire chamber was filled with vacuum at that point. But you were on the other side of it, so you guys were like, "Oh crap, we're gonna get away." And so they waited until their ship left, and they saw the ship as it left. Does anybody want to describe that?
I have something about that. Let's see. I have. As we go back to the lander, we see a weird ship flying away at high speed. It doesn't seem like it should work. The metals catch light in a weird way, and the design seems sort of very old.
Zero propulsion flume.
No propulsion flume. It must be at least 1,000-ton ship. That's what I have.
Yeah. Huge ship.
It was incredibly high speed, 6 to 10 Gs.
Yeah. No plume, no thrust, strange materials, no obvious spin for gravity. But yeah, reminiscent of like older styles in terms of design. But we also overheard the people say some things like, "I'm confused." One of the ones said, "I'm confused. Why do they allow pirates to stay in the ancestral home?" To which the other one responded, "It's complicated." So it's and then they also said, "Get the artifact. It's too soon." So like they said some crazy ass shit in summary.
And so you guys gathered your crate, your Solobek Industries crate. That was also a Solobek Industries crate that thing was pulled out of, and you're on a Solobek Industries ship, coincidentally, which is hilarious. That was actually a roll, but like, they basically are on a haul job to use as a cover for doing this other job of hauling these hazardous chemicals and stuff for Solobek Industries, who is the same people that they're stealing from, or they're stealing from the people that stole from them, but they're not giving it back to Solobek. Right. So complicated morass of a situation there. So you loaded your crate back onto your vessel after loading it into these landers and slipping away, seeing them disappear into the distance. You also additionally heard them mention that they found your hidden DSV, your hidden ship, behind the nearby asteroid. They assumed that the pirates put it there to keep it away from the base due to the hazardous material on board, since there's so many radioactive materials, etc. The ship itself has the cabin like shielded, so when you're inside the cabin areas and everything, you're safe. But it's it's not something you might want to sit right outside your thin asteroid base.
Yeah.
So it seemed like they assumed that's what had happened. They asked if they should detonate that too to cover things up, but they thought it might make for good cover to leave it, so they left it there. And you got into your landers after they were gone, made your way back to your vessel, began leaving, and then our camera left the ship and found itself briefly within the interior of the others, where we heard only one phrase throughout the chatter for Osiris. And that was where the session ended. Now, we pick right back up, our camera moving back through this space, this empty void, towards Jolene's Folly. That's the name of the current vessel they're on. We see it in the distance. This elongated, almost hammer-like shape, covered with these orbs. Orbs containing various fluids and gases, many of which are hazardous. Each of them kind of labeled by their color, essentially, on the outside. I think you guys actually in the game here can see a picture of it yourselves. I don't have it on stream right now, but it should be on the sheet. But yeah, you're back on board. You've began burn towards your destination of Ganymede. All those rolls were made last time, and you know that the journey is about 120 hours from here. You're at about...
Should be 120 hours.
Yeah, you're at about hour 2 to 4 right now of that journey. Who's operating sensors at the moment? Who's in CIC?
Probably on sensors.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a roll. You can use int as the modifier.
You sure?
Yeah, I think it would be int. It would either be int or education. X6. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull this up 1 second.
Planet, watch out!
Not for the planet, no. It's fine.
It's no moon.
All right.
Uh-oh.
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 You scared?
I mean... Yes.
You should be.
There's approximately 0 ships in the solar system that we could take on head-to-head in combat. Or outrun.
Facts.
It's really, the camera's really zoomed
Yeah,
in
our ship is real shitty right now.
How zoomed in on it is. I don't know if I can unzoom it very easily, unfortunately. Maybe I can. Get over there on the side, get a little signal. Zoom back in.
An effect of 6.
Pretty impressive.
That failed it, so we wouldn't see that missile coming.
Give me a second. Okay, so you got an effect of 6. That should have been 8 as the difficulty. Is that what you rolled against?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you did. Okay, cool.
so
Yeah,
14,
all good.
6.
You're all good. So yeah, you get 2 things here. One, no sensor operator could have missed. It's not that far from you. It's an absolutely enormous explosion, nuclear explosion. Now, when a nuclear explosion happens in space, it ejects a lot of radiation. And it's not really like a big rolling explosion because there's no atmosphere, right? It's more just a burst of radiation that happens. This nuclear explosion was inside that asteroid that you were in. So it wasn't just in space. There was a tiny amount of atmosphere in the asteroid near it, but that's not the part that matters. The rock itself absorbed most of that radiation and kind of melts for the most part. So part of it is absorbed by that, and the kind of line of sight just gets blocked, right? The rest is sort of like a flashlight shining out in this large cone in space. And some of that radiation makes it a ways out there. Most ships are fairly shielded, but it is detectable as it bounces off of multiple sources, other asteroids in the belt, other unnatural objects in the belt, etc. And as it does so, you pick up a few signals that you hadn't previously. Ones that aren't too far away. And ones that are a little ways away. Alright, I assume you see the map?
I see the ship on the combat map. Or you mean in? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these are the signals that you see on radar. In order to discern more information about them, you will need to individually scan actively. So this is just passive sensors you're on right now. The camera keeps zooming in on, for whatever reason, it's got an automatic control where it zooms in on tokens. And I don't know how to make it like be less zoomed in than that right now. So unfortunately it just keeps zooming in. I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that in settings later on, but I don't know where those levers would be. But at least we have a cameraman. It's an AI cameraman. He just not always. So he zoomed out too far. But there's some other signals that they're seeing out there further. On stream, you're only really seeing roughly what's adjacent to them, but they can see out to distant range, which is way past 50 million meters and stuff. Like 100,000 meter range with their radar. So for the pings that you've got one at distance, one at very long range, and one at short range. Now they're all, as I said, kind of out in a wide cone, like a 90-degree cone from where the cap of that asteroid was that blew off basically when the nuke happened, and then the rest of the asteroid essentially absorbed most of that radiation and just kind of cooked and melted inside mostly, right? So behind that you didn't get any like pings off of any of those. Do you choose to go active with your sensor pings on any of these? One of them is a slightly different signal than the others, you can notice. The one that is in the very long band not only seems like a reflection of the gamma radiation and stuff that came from the explosion, but also it almost returns back a different type of radiation that you can't recognize. It's like multiple wavelengths kind of bounce back, which is a little unexpected.
Which one is that?
The one that has a different icon than the other two.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Shit, guys. Seeing some strange objects out here. I think we should not reveal ourselves though. If this crate we got is as important as I think it is, I think people are gonna be studying any signals out here to understand what happened, and we don't want to. I think we want as small as footprint as possible. So can I point?
Into ship.
I don't know if there's any focus for passive sensors. Can I just like kind of focus in on the short range one first, and just kind of like see over time if it has any other signals past the nuclear pulse?
So stop.
You know what I mean? Like if it gives off.
Oh my god, that was loud.
What the
hell was that?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Xenomorphs on the ship.
Oh, was that you? Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
I wasn't sure what that was. I thought that was... I'm messing with Syrinscape right now, and then that happened, and I was like, where did I mess up? Alright, sorry. I was trying to get the, like, quiet ambience of the ship here for tension. Alright. Please ask your question again, Venom.
Is there such a thing as like basically I just want to I think the answer to that is no. I think we don't want to go active. Can I continue just to listen to these specific areas passively?
You can passively keep an eye on them, right? But that doesn't give you any like real bonuses or whatever. It just increases the time that you're spending on the task, which can bring the difficulty down if you spend enough time, but that's a secret number and it's large numbers usually.
I guess my point is, like, if let's say one of these is a ship or a base or something, right now I'm become aware of it due to this nuclear pulse bouncing off of it, but like once that clears, I'm wondering, are they giving off
with your
any
effect of
passive
6 earlier, I would say you corresponded it to like known charted stuff. Whatever it is, it's not a known station. The two pings were two that register as... I have a key on here, by the way, if you look down on the lower left. It's not visible on stream, but for you guys should be able to see a key in the lower left down here. All the way in the bottom left.
Okay, signals, artificial objects. Okay.
Yeah, so those have registered enough to let you know that those are artificial objects. They're not like other rocks and stuff. I didn't put a bunch of the normal ones on there because you're pretty far away from asteroids, right? The belt's not like they're not crowded. That's not how it even though it looks that way in Star Wars a lot of times, that's not how it actually is. But there are within this range of you, those artificial objects did appear. They were not visible on passive sensors before, which means they don't have plumes. Because if they were burning, it's almost impossible to not be seen, right? Or at least they're not breaking towards you, right? Or anything like that. The other one that I put down as a signal, not because it's like a radio signal, but because when the radiation bounced back off of that, you got back multiple bands of radiation that would be abnormal to reflect off of most artificial or natural surfaces.
But I guess to re-ask the question, so now that I know that there's something at these places, once the radiation clears from the nuclear blast, is there any chance I would pick something up?
It's already
there?
cleared.
Like,
these are pings that are just saying on your monitors because it's like basically there was something here.
Sure.
Are those pings back
But
towards
now they're quiet.
the asteroid?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
No, as I said, they're not towards the asteroid. The asteroid blew up, and then away from that asteroid in a 90-degree cone, because the back half of the asteroid covered, so it's not a big circle or spherical explosion. It's a cone out one side, because the asteroid itself created like a barrel for a gun for radiation to shoot out in this cone. And so,
all right, well,
it blocked line of sight on a bunch of stuff.
But so now after that, these things are not giving off any detectable radiation.
No,
That's my question.
just that initial ping was the only thing that let you see them before.
All right, I'm gonna.
They stand out not because of what they are, but because you didn't see them before, and now you suddenly have, because it's like standing in the dark and the lights turned on for a flash.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, oh shit, there was somebody standing in that corner. And now the corner is still dark, and you're like, I know that corner had a person in it. That's what's happening right now.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, if it were like a base, maybe there's leaking radiation, like, you know, from just normal electronic.
Sure.
Whatever.
That's definitely not what this is. Yeah,
that would have been low enough energy that we didn't notice it before, but now we would. Now that we know where to look.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'll active scan the weird signal. How about that?
Dragon says investigator Titron.
It's a trick. It's a classic trap. He wants us to scan so that we show up in the goddamn news here when we get to Ganymede. Here's a picture. Here's a video of the ship leaving the scene of the crime. If you know who might have been riding the ship, it's a classic trap.
I know. Did you say what you said earlier into the comms?
Oh, my side hurts from laughing.
What's that?
So hard.
Did you say what you said earlier into the comms about registering these blips?
I definitely said, so I don't know I don't know who's here, but I'm definitely saying comms. I don't know if I'm saying it is anybody who's in the bridge?
ship like real small?
They've been doing crimes, Dragon.
Oh,
That's
it is
why.
really small.
That's why they're really worried.
So we can hear
Arm length away
you.
from each
Oh.
other.
I'm actively gonna jump out of the bunk then and poke my head into the little flight deck, and I'm gonna be like, don't ping anything. Let's just keep going. We got one more stop and we're home free. Well, I guess one more stop and then an exit, but
it's giving off some weird radiation, but yeah, you're right. Let's just try to get out of here quiet. I love that you just poke your head in. Don't think that thing.
So you're gonna.
I can't believe we got out of that last situation. Like, you could see, like, Lena's pretty much like still thinking about that situation, like those dudes busting into the ceiling and everything. That was getting away from the explosion. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, pretty heavy.
That was another question. Are any of these? The other ship basically disappeared, right? So none of these would be.
Well, the other ship. You mean the big ship? Is that what you're talking about? That's what you mean, the big ship.
The big.
It went away, and it doesn't have a plume, and it didn't leak any electromagnetic signals that you could tell when you were there. You know, looking at it, didn't like so. You don't know how far away it is, but it's one of those things where, you know, it's a black ship in space that doesn't have any kind of radiation coming out of it at any sort. So it's essentially a perfect
Do
stealth.
we know does direction? Do any of these correspond to the direction? If we can figure that out. So
you were here. I'll draw on the map a little bit for you. You guys were headed. Actually, what's the easiest way to do this? You guys were headed towards. No, I don't need to draw for this. You guys were headed essentially towards the west, right? So all of these signals are technically behind you.
Sure.
But you would know. If you're an active burn, your plume is facing them.
Okay, fair enough.
Now, depending on how hard you're burning and exactly where your plume is, you can even use that to help create a ping to try and find things. You know that. But you also know that they probably see you no matter what right now.
Right. Fair enough.
Because you're literally shining a flashlight at them.
Fair enough. I don't know. Yeah, they're liable to see our torch no matter what. But
Black shit
you're
crewed
right,
by the damned.
I think the more we learn, the more that we learn, the more trouble it might get us into. I'm gotta admit, I'm curious.
Kind of trying to block out the memory of what we just experienced. I don't think we were supposed to see any of that, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I just want to get out of here.
Bailey, where the hell did you find this guy that gave us this?
You don't want to know.
Did anyone else have like a weird vision experience on that rock? By the way, I know it's kind of like the least weird thing that happened.
I think,
Oh, well, as an additional detail, you all, after that initial kind of burst where you almost all kind of passed out but didn't, you do have kind of a taste of like copper, like pennies in your mouth almost.
Don't mention that. But I will smoke my.
I did experience something.
At this point, that would have been like hours ago.
Yeah, no, that's like residual though. I mean, for like a while it lasts.
You still can taste the pennies.
Well, if it's been like 4 hours, it'd be gone now, but it would last for about an hour. Yeah.
It reminded me of you. I did have a weird experience that was surreal.
I will say, Venom,
some old free merchant.
You saw the name probably stamped inside of that cargo hold, which would read Bambi.
Was Bambi the name of your ship that you were on?
That was the first free merchant vessel I got a job on. That's where I spent my whole career. Man, I never told.
I know this.
I must have told you about it, right?
I don't know. I don't know. It reminded me of you, but I was in someone else's body in this cargo hold on this ship. It's surreal.
What was happening?
I don't know. There was this. It was overwhelming, but there was these crates that were open with all these like some kind of weird liquids inside. These bright fluorescent colors. There was like security was there. It was like you were smuggling or something. And
you see Lean going pale when you're talking about this.
It was like I felt like stuck, not knowing if to run or to hide. Is that what did you experience?
That wasn't that long ago. That was me. That was my ship.
Well, it was. How's that possible?
Oh no. Have you ever seen a union protest turn violent?
On Ganymede, yeah. That's what I was there when I was there doing that story. The miners there were trying to organize, and of course the company was against it, and they were. Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming. So what happened? So we swapped.
It was exciting. It was scary,
exciting, but scary. Yeah. What about you, Bailey? Did you have an experience like that?
Yeah, something, but I thought it was just the drugs.
Wait, you're on drugs?
Yeah, we all are.
You got drugs?
Oh, that was kind of drugs. And you see Lena scratch the implant.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what to make of it. anyway, it seems to have worn off whatever it was.
That's crazy.
It's
I
like
wish
that
you could bottle
radiation.
that.
It had something to do with that radiation. Yeah, it's.
I don't know. We were hit with radiation before, and
Yeah.
we didn't see each other's memories. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, if someone could reproduce that, then you got.
We'll be in the money. Yeah.
business.
Might
Have
be
something to do with
related
that weird ship.
to what those weird guys took.
Did anyone see it? What was that?
Maybe, but it was the same kind of radiation that they're like. It's like these ships were using. Then there was that weapon, that other pulse. I don't know. It was. I don't know what's going on, guys.
Too many
Seems
questions,
like rubbing
not
on
enough
the
answers.
medallion.
Right.
Kind of like staring off into space.
How long again, I mean?
Oh, what you're asking him. Okay.
115 hours or so.
Can't come soon enough. The next few days is gonna be tense. Hopefully nobody's
anyone bring
back
any
there to
cards?
install this. Cards, I can't
Well,
think straight right now. But yeah, I think I got some in my pack.
Who's operating the sensors while you're having this conversation?
I would be sitting in the chair, but obviously distracted.
I mean, you can see yourselves like kind of peeling away from the location that they were last pinged at, or whatever. The pings for each of them start to get further and further away, as they were just the locations that they were at when you were there, and you're moving away from them. So they start to disappear. The furthest, anyway, of them start to disappear off of scopes. That would be the odd signal, the weird one you got. So eventually it disappears off scopes.
I'm gonna try and get some sleep, and then I'll like go back to the bunk, and then immediately put my head back in. Like, don't answer any hails. Don't scan anything.
Hail, what's a hail?
I don't know if we have those here. I'm gonna get some sleep. Lean will go into a bunk, try to crash.
Yeah, when is the last time we slept? I don't know if there's any way to, listen in. Like, can we shape our passive radar at all?
Yeah, I mean, you can focus your attention backward as much as you can.
Yeah, I would certainly
It's a
do
little
that
limited because your plume direction
periodically.
You have to basically
Yeah.
you have to basically move to kind of see.
I don't think we do too much of it. I think we're really just trying to get the hell out of here, knowing if there was something, we wouldn't really be able to handle it anyway.
Are you, so you're at full burn or you're at double burn? You can have 1 G of thrust if you double burn, but you spent twice as much, twice as many burns of fuel.
no, I think we're just moving it.
The standard
Half G,
thrust
yeah.
for the ship. Okay.
Yeah.
We asked a lot of this ship already.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. So there's no piloting rolls necessary or anything to maintain course. You've already done those rolls last time to set course, and you're maintaining it as per instructions from the console and stuff. So there's nothing going on there. But let's check some other stuff. Okay, if you would please, sensor operator, make me another sensor check.
Education's still okay.
Yeah, I'll allow it for this one.
Oh,
Thanks.
0. Nice. Okay.
Just barely. All right. So you're focusing sensors in that direction as best as possible, as you can. You're not using any active sensor pings or whatever to show that you are scanning them, right? Because basically what that, I mean, they know where you are, so like an active sensor ping isn't gonna be like reveal your location, but it will reveal that you are looking at them, right? It's like targeting somebody in Star Citizen or something like that, if you want to think about it. So if you don't do that, you're just going to get like a little bits and bobs of information as you do, but eventually the most distant one disappears off of sensors. The locations all disappear away into the blackness of space, but you do get another ping. It's off the plume of your ship. It's very, very faint, just EM reflection, just literally like a little bit light, basically. It seems you get your freelancer, nice. Sorry, I was responding to Dragon. But if it is a ship, it would be accelerating now. It wouldn't be decelerating because there's no plume facing you at the moment. You follow me?
Okay. Yeah.
But it does seem to be generally in the direction of where where the closest source was before. It's slightly further away from you than it was when you first encountered it, if it is indeed the closest source, but it is in the rough same vector. It's like within a margin of error of correcting for thrust within a few hours.
So implying if it's a ship, it's
you're not going
towards us, but slower than we're moving.
Yeah. On passive sensors with a roll with no effect, you're not going to get much more than that, except that you can tell that it's at its current rate, it's probably moving about the same speed as you, but but if it's facing you, it might be accelerating. It might be soon moving faster. There's no way to know. Right. On a zero effect, you don't fucking know. But yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, but one of these dots I think is not really gaining on us, but it's kind of, I think it's still there, and I think it's sort of keeping up with us.
You also got a ping on the other one that was further away, and it still seems like it seems like it's moved closer, maybe like to the same vector, but not necessarily closer to you. But it does seem like the one is for sure keeping up with you.
Okay.
And the other one, the third one disappeared.
They're both both of those pings are still, they seem to be real thing. They're still moving, but they're not, neither one of us gaining on us, so we just have to keep an eye on them, I guess. Don't want to piss Lean off.
He's following us though?
Not directly. You're asleep. What you talking about?
Oh yeah, shit.
They're not directly following us, but they're in this similar vector. So maybe they're, it could be somebody going to Ganymede, it could be miners, it could be anything. But there's no reason to think they're just beelining to us necessarily yet. And if they are, they at least don't obviously have more thrust than we do. If it's some kind of,
at this point, you're getting kind of closer and closer to the edge of what would be defined as the belt. By the way, you'll be out of the belt here in like probably another 12 to 30 hours or so, and then you'll be in just the pure depth of space between this odd part of the belt and Jupiter Ganymede system. So it's like being in the deep middle of the Pacific, far away from any source of anything, basically.
How many hours left in the journey?
This point, probably about 110 or so.
If frankly, if they were some kind of pirate, I guess they would almost certainly have a faster ship and they would certainly be gaining on us at a half G. So I'm not too worried yet, but I'll keep watching them. But, dude, I'm gonna need to go to bed at some point. Stay up a little longer.
Right, so you stay up, keep an eye on the dials, keep an eye on the radar for the next, how long? However many hours? How many?
Oh, well, I mean, at some point I obviously have to sleep. So give it a few more hours, and then if it hasn't, nothing's changed, I would set any kind of alarms I could, and or tell whoever takes over, kind of tell them what to look for, and then go to bed.
You could wake me up if you like. Well, I assume we have like some sort of shift pattern already.
6 on, 6 off, something like that.
Yeah. So that's probably, I would imagine I went to sleep.
You talked about it last
reason.
time some, but I don't remember what you decided on.
Yeah, bad.
So you can wake me up when you're ready for it to happen.
You know, since there's actually like active shit going on, I'm sure I would try to push things.
Okay.
But yeah, I would wake up lean and does anybody else have any electronics comms or sensors or electronics?
Nope.
The ship rolls it at a 0, I believe, on its own.
Oh.
So if you don't have
I would
it,
just
you roll it at 0
show
with
them.
the ship.
Hey guys, the signals are still out here. They're not really changing. Just keep an eye on best you can. It's this little dial right here. Just watch for that light, and I gotta get some sleep. Kind of stumble out of the chair and go hit the bunk.
All right. You go get into the bunk. Who's on sensors now? Whose shift is it in CIC?
Either Lean or Isaac.
Yeah, I'll jump on.
Okay. Would you roll me a d6, please?
Or both.
Just a pure d6, no skill roll. Just a regular d6. Right? Wow.
Missiles incoming.
Cool. All right. Bit of time goes by. Paris, you quickly drift off to sleep in your bunk. It's not a comfortable ship, as you well know by this point, but it's, you go to sleep probably almost immediately if you've been that tired, unless the nervousness of this thing keeps you awake for a while. Lean, the radar is eerie because those dots, those pings happen every now and then as they are registered by the plume, the reflection from the plume of your own craft. They appear as just brief shadows for a moment. It's not uncommon to have vessels deep in space like this paralleling similar courses, but what is usually common is for them to send out like a friend or foe identification, like, hey, this is who we are, don't worry about us. Oh yeah, cool, we're cool too, that kind of a thing. But you haven't gotten that, and it's been, at this point, they've been on scopes for probably 12 hours or so.
Lean will say shit under her breath as she's looking at the consoles.
So there's still no friend or foe signature, but they don't seem to be like rapidly accelerating towards you at any point right now. They seem to be converging a little bit, like one is kind of coming behind the other, almost like it's forming a line behind you, if that makes sense.
Trying to pull us over.
But yeah, in your lane. One is slightly above you, and one is slightly below you in terms of the ecliptic of the solar system. But they don't have any active pings, but they're not. It would be quite common for a ship to. Of course, you haven't done either, right? For the same reasons.
I was about to ask if that would be like I'm gonna use my belter knowledge or belter profession to kind of gauge whether or not what the custom would be in this situation. like, would it be customary for the people tailing to send it, or basically, is it okay if I send it first to kind of get a more of a? Would that make me look more?
I'm not gonna make you roll for that. Like, you would know for having that profession, yeah, that you just for being trained in it, that it doesn't. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? Etiquette around that. It's like, oh, you see somebody, you ping them and say, hey, we're cool, that kind of a thing. Are you cool? We're cool. That type of a thing. Ships that aren't doing it very actively are usually like. There are legitimate reasons, right? There's like military ships do it sometimes, but also like smugglers do it and pirates and stuff do it too, right? Like, for example, like when major political figures are moved around, they don't do that. They don't identify who they are. Sometimes they do identify, but they identify as somebody else, that kind of a thing. But depending on the situation, like the traffic densities where they're at. But you're, like I said earlier, in one of the most nowhere parts of the whole solar system, that's close to civilization, unless you go way out towards like Neptune and those guys. But like, you're in the a gulf of you're entering into a gulf of nothingness between the asteroid belt and Jupiter, which is, and you're coming from, like, if here's the asteroid belt, right, which is the big, Taurus, you're like over here, and Jupiter was like over here, so you have to like, you're going from like like over here, so you're coming from like a weird angle too. You're not like going straight from one to the other, like Mars asteroid belt, Jupiter. It's not like that. It's like you went from Mars way over to here, this other part of the asteroid belt, that had to cut across dead space to get to Jupiter. So you're in like the middle of nowhere. Traffic in this area is going to be rare no matter what, because of there's no like major city where you left from or anything like that. But there were other,
but there would be like an automatic IFF on a ship like we're on. You know what I mean? Like a responder, like commercial.
Yes, there is, but it's not turned on unless you specifically will say we're turning it on. And I assumed you weren't going to turn something like that on because you guys are trying to be sneaky. But if you want to turn it on, let me know. But I wasn't going to say you guys are pinging who you are the whole time, because I assumed you were trying to hide the fact that you were.
I was like, oh, we should have turned them off. Good. All right, fair enough. Good to know.
I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna see what they do. I know that we're being followed for sure. I don't know who's in the co-pilot seat or the pilot seat, at the moment.
Yeah, I was thinking there's probably only one person in the CIC when you're on these off shifts and stuff. So like, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a person on stick. It's like, right, you're basically making sure nothing's deviating you from this course that's set by manning sensors and stuff. So you're mostly like, that's you, basically. You're the one. If you're the one reading the radar right now, it's you.
All right, you can see if I can hold on.
If something comes up, you can obviously be like, Bailey, get in here, fly, and I'll look the...
Right.
Yeah.
I want to get a second opinion, though, before I do anything.
Sure. So how much time are you going to let go by?
Most of my... Well, I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I'm going to hopefully let my whole shift go by until I have to tell the next person what's up.
Sounds good. Okay. Adjusted in the radar. They are still on you. They have not gotten further away at all. In fact, they are both now appearing slightly more regularly, as would be expected if they're more directly in line with your plume. And because of that, the check is easier to see them passively. So if you would make me a sensor operator check, please. I'll allow for Antor education for this as the trait. You're talking, I can't hear you.
Sensor operator is a skill. I don't have that. I have.
Electronic sensors.
Yeah, electronics.
Yeah, I don't have that. I just have electronics, computers.
So then you would roll whatever your base electronics would be, which would be 0, or you can,
Okay, good.
or because this particular ship actually has a component on it that gives it sensor 0. Basically, if you don't have any training, the ship rolls it at 0. But since you're at 0, you would just roll your 0, so it doesn't matter.
Average.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Again, they pop up. You see them much more often now as they're getting pinged. You don't actually get any real more information about them from this, though you do try, right? You try and you run every algorithm you can, all the software that this ship has equipped to try and do any kind of identification, see if it can spot the silhouette, see if it can spot pop-up turrets on the silhouette. Is it an armed ship, all this different stuff, but you don't get any usable information. All you can tell us, yeah, it's an artificial structure, it's staying with you, it's clearly accelerating though, such that it will probably be within short range within maybe 16 hours. Yeah, 16 hours. And its vector has not changed, but because it's this close and you have a very poor effect, I'm not going to give you its exact vector, but I will say, it's not Ganymede.
Huh. I can only infer that might be us.
It might be.
Oh, is that the end of my shift?
Yeah.
Alright, who am I waking up next? Either Isaac or Bailey, I guess.
So, in my head, Bailey was in the
4 hours,
room with me.
I had that
Because I figured we
too.
had
I
just
don't know.
left. We had just left
to you.
the whole
Yeah.
cluster, so it would have made sense to.
Up to you guys.
I was a little bit, but not your whole shift.
Okay.
There you go.
So, So yeah, you would have gotten a rest then. I'll wake you up, Bailey.
All right.
Hey Omen, you've probably seen this more than me, but can you take a look at these sensors and tell me what they're doing?
$104 hours to destination.
According to what I'm reading, this one's accelerating and it's going to be on us in less than 16 hours, within short range at least.
The close blip or the farther one?
Close one.
This one. And yeah, I point to the closer one.
I'll try and take a look at it.
It's right on the edge of what would be considered medium range.
I'll sit in the seat next to Omen.
It's about 3 million meters out right now. The closing.
What was it? Electronics? What?
Sensors.
Swords.
Stat. I mean,
Enter
characteristic,
education.
rather.
The roll is easier now. So because of the multiple pings and it's much closer, you can tell that the closest one is now closing to about 2.5 million meters, and you didn't get an effect, so I'm not going to give you too much extra. The ship behind it is definitely keeping up. Its vector is slightly different. The first ship's vector is definitely not your current position, but where your current position is going to be in about 1 day.
So Looks like they are on an intercept course.
Wow.
And they
that's-
haven't
Settling.
turned on a transponder of any kind, or
No,
any
they have
signal?
not.
I haven't seen anything come up. I was wondering. I kind of wanted a second opinion if we should send out, a friend or foe, but I don't know if that would be poking the hornet's nest.
Well, I'll just speed up a little bit and see what they do.
So you're gonna double
Good
bird?
idea.
Yep.
Okay. As pilot, you would know that you need people in crash couches for that, basically. Like, it's safe because you're only burning at 1G, but any increase in acceleration people should be sitting down and strapped down, so they don't.
Can I do it slow
Fire.
enough that it doesn't bother the crew?
Yeah, you can
It's fine.
actually. You can do it over the course of an hour.
So you don't bother the sleeping person.
Yeah.
Well, when you're sleeping, you actually are in a crash couch. Your bunks are crash couches as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was just like
Yeah.
not enough for all of us to sleep at once, I'd imagine, too. Or is
There's
there?
no, there is. There's 2 staterooms that are double rooms. So basically, 2 of you are bunked in one, and 2 of you are bunked in another. Yeah. And there's also 4 cryopods as well on board. So if you had which double is escape pods. So if the ship blew up, you could technically get in those and hope that somebody recovers you.
That's a real
someday.
comfort. Thanks.
They're solar operated. They'll last for a little while. Not too long, actually, but they'll last for a while. Okay.
Get a nice view in your floating space coffin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're unconscious because they're low berths. So you're just like,
Oh, you don't even get to enjoy the view. Yeah.
no, you're just floating there unconscious, hoping somebody detects the blip signal and picks it up. It's better than nothing. I mean, it's better than being in space dead. Or just in your vac suit waiting for those 6 hours to wind down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Speed up slowly so I don't disturb anybody.
Yeah, you can do that over the course of an hour. It's just not a combat maneuver, but yeah, you can do that. But you're not technically in combat, so it's fine. You speed up to 1G, so I'm gonna need you to spend. So yeah, it's just a maneuver. So you spend 2 burns to do that. You should be able to do that.
I still don't know where that button is.
So don't worry about the burns at the top of the thing. Just do it on the sheet, on the ship sheet. You see it in there on the Julian's Folly? Up at the top where it says refined fuel, and it says 20 of 24 right now.
Yes.
Take that to make that 18 of 24. You might be able to click the bar and drag it down too. I don't actually know.
Did that do it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking in it.
Looked like it for me. Yeah. I see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it did it. Yeah.
Didn't actually change the bar up top though.
Yeah. I saw the bar.
Looks
move
like it did for me. Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe just close it and reopen it for you. I see it. Here, I'm gonna change it and see if it changes it for me. We'll make it 12 and then put it back at 18. 12. Enter. Yeah, it went down to half. 18. Enter. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I see it there, but
Yeah, I
not
see it jumping.
up top.
That's not. Those aren't linked. Those are. So this top one up here is not linked to your ship sheet. It's linked to. It's like a open resource. So the reason I have it there, you can ignore it for now. I had it there when we didn't have a ship sheet to track. I'll just put it back at 24 for now. But
Right.
that's for us to track things like landers and all the stuff that we don't have ship sheets for. Because you still need to know how much fuel you have in one of these little craft. You know what I mean? Just because that's how our system works.
Yeah.
But we don't always need a ship for it. We just need to know how much fuel's in the damn thing. And the way that I'm tracking, you can't see this, but the way that I'm actually tracking the distance between objects and stuff here, if you remember, the old space combat thing had this like, oh, I would spend so many burns and I would go down this track like this on the burns to catch up. I don't have to worry about that now, because if you look on this radar, it tells you like down straight the line down the middle here. The audience can even see it a little bit. Well, not really, but that line that goes down the middle has on the right distances, but on the left, it has a number and then a T. That's how much thrust you have to spend to get to one of the next bands. So if you're out at all the way at distant, you have to spend 50 total thrust to get to very long. And then so I'm just doing the inverse. If you get further away from something, I'm adding your thrust and their thrust and seeing where we get. And then and then on the individual token, I just basically right click the token, and I have it's the same number that for actual fighting, like people on the ground, but you use for height to know how high up they are. I just use that for each band. So I'm like, oh, they've spent 45 thrust now. That's it. It's super cool. So it's a little bit abstract, but not nearly as abstract as you might think. And it's neat because I can have things on all sides of you, and I can track like how close and far away they are all getting without having to be on that 2D track. Does that make sense? This is way cooler. It also looks cooler too. I made a thing in Photoshop and I wanted to use it, so you know.
It sounds neat.
Yeah, the big thing is it lets me track more than one ship fighting at a time. So you guys can have a fleet of ships, and then they can have a fleet of ships, right? And so you guys can have fighters and stuff, and you know, we can have our Babylon 5 moments or whatever we want, our Expanse moments with big, you know, ships, PDCs, and lots of missiles coming in from different angles and stuff. Should be cool. That all came in the naval book. This is all from the Bunker's Traveler 2nd edition Navy book. The way I'm tracking it's a little bit easier, but that's just because I have the tokens. Anyway, you gently increase speed over the course of an hour. They're keeping up with you, and it's been an hour, so you can make another sensors roll if you'd like. Their ping is showing up every now and then just passively here against your last rolls. You can tell they are still gaining on you. Okay. Effect 3. It will have a direct interswept course at about... You'll have like 96 hours left on your trip. Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Gabby? What do you do?
So they matched speed increase?
Yeah. They've matched and then more and then some. So where they were going to catch up
and adjusted their vector to...
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were going to catch up to you when you would have about 80 hours left. Now they're going to catch up when you have about 96 hours left of the trip. So they're not going to catch up to you, like get right behind you. They're literally cutting in. They're going to be at the same point. They'll be like beside you. As far as you can tell, they will match your exact speed and be directly adjacent to you when you have 96 hours left in the trip. You now have 103.
Belter profession and see if I recognize this tactic.
Sure. It's not really like a belter thing to recognize a tactic, but I'll say you could roll belter, because belters aren't like pirates and stuff, right? So if you're looking for like pirate techniques or something.
Well, I assume they've been victims of
absolutely. So
like,
that was the point I was going to make. So it wouldn't be from one angle; it would be from the other. So it's not going to be like a really easy roll. But yes, I would let you roll that. I think it would be int. So yeah. Because that's just like your recollection of what you did during the job, and the stories you heard. No. Int is the modifier. Belter profession int. Sorry. In Traveler, for those of you that don't know, you choose which stat basically goes with which skill roll for every roll in the game. And the base difficulty is an 8 that they beat on a 2d6 roll with the modifications from their stats and their skill training. And there are no classes.
Is this an 8?
This would be an 8. A lot of times I still have you guys roll an 8, and I adjust in my head if it's a 6 or a 10, so I don't have to tell you what the number actually is.
Sum of 1?
Literally the worst roll I could have done.
Can't read your dice, but they didn't look good.
You're trying to think back about, like, you know, when raiders hit different groups and stuff like that. And you do remember some stories people tell, but they're all like so fantastical and like terrifying. It's mostly about like how dangerous or whatever they are, or whatever else it might be. But it's usually never like here's the exact technique they use to do this thing or anything like that, right?
Yeah, they're not doing a Picard maneuver.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, you've heard stories of, like, on a -7, I'm not going to give you any details, but, like, you know when raiders, they board things, they board through airlocks a lot of times, in really messy situations, yeah. They'll cut into ships, but it's very rare that they do that because they usually try to keep the ship or whatever's on the ship, that kind of stuff. But yeah, you're not going to get any additional information with your filter knowledge. But yeah, they'll be directly alongside you here in a few hours. You would know that though now. Bailey, what do you do? Also, I'd say with that roll that you got with the effect of 3, don't recognize the ship or anything, but you can see as part of the silhouette, like you're running those algorithms and stuff to catch any particular details and clarify them, etc. You don't get the exact model or anything like that, the exact make of vessel, but you do see what look to be 3 extended types of port that would coincide either with weapons turrets or boarding tubes. I guess on an effective 3, I'll also give you a little bit of information about the ship behind it. It is, you don't see anything extended out from it, and it's part of its silhouette, but it's very large. Not like as large as that one ship that you saw, but large, like pretty, what would be the like close to a 500 to 1,000 ton at least, probably, ship. And then with that effective 3, I'll also give you that your plume is what's illuminating these things occasionally for you, right? It's what's giving you these little pings. The plume from the vessel that's in close pursuit of you would not, for its current trajectory, illuminate this vessel. So it's likely that the ship behind you doesn't see the ship behind it very well. Because one's down here, one's up here above you, and you're kind of in the middle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Is our followers being followed?
Maybe.
What do? You have 102 hours left. Normally we don't zoom in this much on the time, but when you're in situations like this, you kind of have to.
And Lean was up there with me, or?
I'm with you, yeah.
They appear to be gaining on us in an intercept course.
Oh, so nothing's changed. They are
And
still going to hit us.
Probably not friendly.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the hint that these might be, I don't know.
Pirate types.
Maybe trying to board us. Yeah, a little bit. little bit. I've heard stories. I mean, I can't say for sure though.
What should we do?
But I mean, well, what's cover around here? What's we're in the middle of fucking nowhere, aren't we? Can we do a sensor sweep? And I don't know. There's nothing. I don't know what to do.
You want to do an active sensor ping? That's what that's what a sensor sweep is.
Yeah, at this point, I feel shouldn't. We're already being followed.
Well, I mean, you're right. We could. We could also send them a warning through comms and say,
Try and
hey, you're on an intercept course. Hope you're aware of that.
well, like a little friendly sailing warning. Hey guys.
Yeah,
You know
we
you
could
might hit us.
try that.
We haven't sent out a friend or foe beacon yet, but
Yeah, but neither have they.
yeah, I think that tells us everything we need to know. Unless it's the cops. Do the cops not do that? Maybe they're expecting us to do something suspicious, so they're like waiting to, you know. I can't go back to jail, woman. I can't go to jail. I can't face that again.
Again?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been in the business a long time. You don't always ask questions.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I never went to prison, so.
Didn't either, thankfully. It was a close call, though.
So, wait, were you in jail or not?
No, I'm out of character. I misspoke, but in character. No,
Oh, okay.
I haven't been. I don't know how I didn't, but basically happened like this.
In the background, on one of the vid screens that you have like muted or whatever silenced, you can see text that appears, breaking news, and you can see an anchor appear on the screen there and begin talking. But it's muted, so you can't hear what they're saying, but you can see scrolling as part of the many pieces of text that's scrolling apart on the screen. You can see breaking news coming in from the asteroid belt, and it just says like mining site primarily operated by Solobek Industries destroyed under attack by terrorists. And you can just see him kind of talking for a moment. If you want to unmute him, you can, but
Yes.
so kind of rewinds a little bit. Good evening, I'm Alan Walker with Soul News Network. We have breaking news coming in from the asteroid belt, where a mining site primarily operated by Solobek Mining, or Solobek Industries, has come under attack, it seemed by terrorists. The incident occurred earlier today as a result, has resulted in the deaths of 16 miners within Solobek Industries. An inquiry has begun, as well as investigations. These vessels were spotted in the vicinity. And then there are like very distant images of several ships. There's like about 10 that are shown. Some of them are clearly obvious, like what ships they are. There's like really clear signs on them. You can see their names and stuff. Some of them are not, and then but you notice most of them have like their name put underneath them, like as graphics, right? Like as graphics as part of the news. All of these vessels here, you can see, have been broadcasting their FFID signatures and have been identified by authorities. These three here remain a secret and are under current investigation. If you have any information as to the whereabouts or the identity of these three vessels, you can send it to Old News Network or the relevant authorities. goes on. The newly formed Jovian Provisional Government has promised to send out a detachment to investigate. Stocks of Solobek Industries have plummeted. That is all. Thank you for watching Soul News Network. Come eat it, Cosmic Bites. Is it commercials?
I'll reach
cut out?
over and turn it off, yeah. Or mute it again, rather. I'll leave it on.
So at that point,
background.
Isaac is gonna.
There's a cartoon
Come
snail
out of
fighting a
the-
cartoon dog over a cheeseburger.
At that point, Isaac's gonna come out of the bunk. It's kind of stretching and waking up, been asleep for like 12 hours or something. So
Nothing like a little radiation
yeah.
poisoning to make you
out
get
of
some good
character.
rest.
Also, I used to do that drug that keeps you up for 36 hours and then you crash.
Well, don't move
And
it.
so I kind of have like a lot of times I'll sleep for 10 or 12 hours because I'm kind of used to it from the
Oh, yeah.
drugs. So anyway, yeah, so I get up and I stretch and come out and I'm like, yay, oh, the fuck was that ad? I come out where there's that weird ads playing. And I'm like, what's going on,
Snail with
guys?
these big teeth and a dog are
what's
just
up?
like tug of warring with this big juicy cheeseburger.
Wing turns it off as I walk in.
Be under investigation for connection to a bombing of a mining facility. I look at Omen and I'll
I'll look at Lean and then look back at the console and flip on the transponder to let people know that we are with Solobek.
send the friend or foe thing for fucking sure.
Okay, so you turn on the FFID.
Yeah.
Sort of a strange pause as then the other two vessels do not turn on their FFID signatures at all. I'm not going to make you roll sensors because you don't need to see this. The lead vessel begins acceleration at a slightly different angle now, giving you more of a clear view of them since they're kind of moving, vectoring slightly away. Fast movers detected.
Fast move? What's that mean?
Faster than the ships themselves.
Means what it sounds like. It's coming towards you at
There's a missile inbound.
an incredibly high speed. You don't know
Missile
exactly what it
inbound.
is, but it's fast mover.
Missile inbound. Shields. Power to shields. Aft shields.
Right about 20 G.
We don't have shields.
What is this? we-
And so
Omen?
we might be potentially entering ship combat here as this fast mover begins moving towards you. I would say your defense systems immediately register it and bracket it, showing potential missile launch targeted on your location. And that's where we're going to go on break.
Jeff. No.
We'll be right
shit.
back. right, we're back. I hope. Did it work? Yes, it worked. Good, we're back.
Shit, we're back.
Shit, we're back. And this fast mover has just launched from this deep space vessel behind you. You didn't know what it was before, but now you have a proper sensor ping. It's targeting you. You're getting a lot more information than you were a moment before from that. Not everything, but enough to know it's a frigate-sized vessel. And it's launched what looks to be a standard warhead in your direction. Now, this is enough potentially, depending on how it's targeted, to destroy a vessel, depending on which vessel it hits and how it hits it. But a lot of these ships are armored and stuff too. Yours, the cabin is, the cargo isn't. Just keep that in mind. Getting this direct ping from this thing, you can also tell that it's moving. It's capable of a thrust, probably somewhere around 2G at double burn. So maybe about twice as fast as you are in terms of acceleration. They don't seem to be braking. They seem to be increasing their width from you a little bit. But I will say, Bailey, without making any rolls, you would know that is a common tactic when essentially abandoning a boarding process and beginning to damage a vessel or something along those lines. So it looks like maybe before they were coming in for like kind of a sneaky boarding situation, but now they are either firing to destroy or disable and positioning their vessel in such a way that their 3 turret mounts, or at least 2 turret mounts and 1 boarding, they have at least 1 boarding tube, but at least positioning themselves so that both of their mounts will be facing you. Does that make sense? Because if you have one on either side of your ship, you want to like turn it so they can both hit basically and give them both angles. So
what the hell? What's going on? I rush in.
Well, I was going to say
alarms are going off too.
Klaxons would be sounding and Bailey would yell
Yes,
over
let's see what we
intership
do here.
comms. Missile incoming. All hands battle stations.
What the hell? What's going on? Why didn't you wake me up?
I just did.
I will hop into one of the seats. What's the what they're attacking us? Both of them?
Pointing at the center. This one here shot a missile at us.
I will send them a communication.
You want to maybe try and shoot the missile out of this guy?
The ship will take care of that. It'll take some. Let's tell them to stop. I'll try to send a. I'll try to send a message.
You do have to.
Both
You do have to
ships if
tell
I
the.
can.
You do have to basically give the ship permission to use point defense. It won't automatically fire point defense unless it's turned on, basically.
All right, I will do that.
All right, you boot up the point defense systems on that single turret, and immediately you hear the sound of the turret buzzing up, and this low, muffled vibration is all that's detectable here inside of the vessel. This on the outside of the vessel, however, our camera swinging around sees these little bits of almost energy. It looks like they're moving so quickly. These tracers on the edges of this high-speed Gatling Gauss weapon spitting fire into space at the incoming plume of an approaching missile. The missile, from its perspective, as our camera moves seamlessly to it, is moving not just forward, dumbly, but intelligently. avoiding incoming fire as best as possible. We can see multiple thrusters on the side firing as the missile bobs and weaves. Several of these rounds on the outskirts of the fire pass by as it continues to approach. Let's go ahead and see what the ship's rolls are. You are within range of the missile.
Normally a point defense is basically happens at the last second because of the distances involved. So basically when the missile would roll damage is kind of when the point defense happens.
And well, okay, on the Cepheus one, it basically says you can shoot it as long as you're within range. Interesting.
Yes, I don't know how you want to handle that. I'm happy to shoot it if it's a little bit more expansive, so we go with it. But
which one?
The point defense. What's that? So yeah, in the core rulebook it says point defense is melee performed against missile salvos as they're about to make their attack roll against the target. Missiles are too small and too fast to be targeted at greater ranges. Once per round. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know round, how far they are and how long this missile's taking to get here.
Also, it says missile flight.
But yeah, normally it would be like right as it hits.
Medium and below is immediate impact.
Okay, so yeah, like they're close range for a missile at this point.
Well, they're in the medium range now, so.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of times you'd fire a missile from like you said, they were trying to sneak up on us, but normally they'd fire it from further out, and then it would. But yeah, so the missile's about to hit. So
long range, it would be in transit 1 round. Very long range, it's in transit 4 rounds, and then at distant range, it's 10 rounds.
Superior, man. Hold on.
Yeah.
Form point defense firing against incoming missiles. So yada yada. Effective for this task. Throw gunnery decks, blah blah, to destroy incoming missile with a dice modifier of +2 if using a point defense weapon. So like for example, this one, a Gatling gas. The gunner may make multiple point defense attacks with the same turret weapon in the same action, but each attack after the first suffers from cumulative dice modifier of -1 to the third shot. For example, yeah. Okay, so it's auto 3. Reduce the number of die rolls. Yes, the Gatling Goss is auto 3.
If the turret has 2 weapons, it gets a +1, and if it has 3 weapons, it's +2.
Yeah, just single turret. So.
That's. I didn't expect to like double Gatlings or anything.
No, it's just literally a single turret. It literally says single turret.
Oh, I forgot I could actually look.
Gunner launches 1 missile per right or throws it. Launch to lock the missile on the target. Sensor target sees required ordnance. Okay. So basically, I throw right now, and it throws against me to see if it shoots the missile. Because we're within such a close range that both of these things are happening at the same time.
Well,
this is torpedoes. Forward position.
I think like
you roll defense, fire. That checks my fair. Spoofing. Missile will hit their target at the end of the next round after their launch. Okay.
I think we get a chance, and then basically our effect removes missiles from the salvo.
Yeah.
I just don't. The only thing is, I don't know what kind of smart, you said they're sort of like smart missiles. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a dice modifier on your roll.
Right, that's what I figured. So I think we roll and see if we knock any, because a lot of times you would fire like a dozen missiles. You would you would send a salvo, and we would try to thin them out as much as we can.
Yeah, that's if you're trying to destroy a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they only shot
You
one,
have
so
missiles to spare. Well, one missile presumably could do a lot of damage in this case, but
yeah. I mean, if we didn't have a gun, we'd be.
this is a lower
screwed.
tech world than others. It's like we're fighting a battleship here. Hopefully.
That, and keep in mind, like each missile, like the basic.
That's what I mean.
missile
Yeah,
is
they're
like
not gonna
200,000.
Right, and we have nowhere to go, so they can take their time. Anyway,
Yeah, I will
Okay,
say
so
too,
I can-
getting a good reading on this too, you can see that they can launch. They have a double turret, a double missile turret, so they can shoot two missiles at the same time if they want to. They're
Okay.
shooting one at a time right now.
good to know. Good to know. All right, so I will let the system shoot.
Okay.
So what's these? There's a modifier because these are advanced missiles.
So smart means it's a -2 DM to your PDC roll basically, and then
Okay.
it's your system is an additional +2, so it just evens out. The smart missile evens out the smart PDC basically. They just cancel each other out.
Yeah, the main thing though is the computer doesn't have a dex to roll with, so it's better if someone were at the turret.
Oh yeah,
My
that's
dex
true.
-1.
Okay,
So
it'd be
it's
better if I were
Maybe
at
not
the
you.
turret.
Maybe not you.
Do you have? So you have turrets and some decks.
Yeah.
So and you were in the room anyway. So if you want to shoot from your pilot chair, then by all means. I'm just looking at automatic. So I think automatic you would roll multiple times, but you're gonna make 3 attacks essentially.
Yeah, it's auto 3. So that means
Like
it's
use up
3
like
separate
9 times the
rolls.
ammo or something. Yes.
Yeah.
Make a number of attacks equal to the auto score, can be made against separate targets, blah blah blah. Uses up a number of rounds equal to 3 times the auto score.
9
That's
rounds.
that's with personal weapons. That's the same for
Yeah. So you have 60 in there. So that will use 9 of those 60 rounds.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have 51 rounds. Spits them out. You do have reloads, but it takes time to reload. You have somewhere. You have like 120, I think, extra ammo. Something like that. You're supposed to have like 120-ish extra ammo. I don't know where it's at in the ship sheet.
So the safest thing to do is full auto. You could burst. You could have at it.
Well, if I can use the turret, I will.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. I don't think you can while you're piloting.
Oh. Is
Yes,
it like a
pretty much
physical turret? Somebody has to go into.
I mean,
it,
I
or
wouldn't
is
be
this-
able to
It's
do any
remotely
piloting
operated.
maneuvers.
Everything's
Okay.
remotely operated. Even the pilot, the pilot's got everything.
Yeah.
It's like the Expanse, right? Everything's a console, but it does have its own special seat on the ship. I would say it's probably operated from like the co-pilot seat
Yeah.
on this ship.
All right,
'cause
well,
this
let's
isn't
let
like
let's let the
a
ship-
military vessel.
We'll let the ship do its thing.
Bowman, get us out
Does
of
that
this.
roll?
Just
What's
roll
that?
it then.
Get us out of this.
Is
Bowman.
that +1 because it's point defense 1?
No, point defense just means that.
Oh,
it-
that's the. But that's
Yeah.
isn't the one like the skill level essentially?
Oh yes, you're right. Yep. So it does get
2d6
+1.
+1.
So it's
And
technically
we'll do this 3
it
times.
would be +3 -2, so just +1.
Is there an open
'Cause you're
gunner
saying we
seat?
have some kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna immediately jump into that.
It's basically the only thing right
You have
now is
turret?
the computer is shooting back.
Yeah. Do you have gunnery turret skill?
I have gunner.
Okay.
Gunner
And then
0.
what's your dex?
My dex is +2.
So you're better than the turret,
So
better than the
you're
computer.
better than the turret.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good
All
news.
right then. So you rolled a 2d6
By
plus 2
one,
3
okay.
times.
Yeah, you're better by one. One's a big
3d6.
deal. Just-
Wait, say that
Yeah.
again?
No, 2.
Roll 2d6 plus 2 3 times.
Correct.
And you're looking for 9s.
2d6 plus 2 3 times. And you don't have a boon of fate to spend, but I will remind Mad Cow that he does have one. If he wants to spend it, you can spend it on other people's rolls. So if you want to spend your boon of fate on any of these point defense rolls or missiles or anything like that, you can. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying keep in mind that you can. I know that's like not a common rule. It's like it's a weird us thing, right? So yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so 2d6 plus 2,
Yes,
3
your
times.
gunnery skill with dex.
3 times. Okay, let me see if this works. Okay.
All right,
2d6.
so I think that's no
2.
effect.
Okay.
There
sure.
it is. So I think he
Lean-
got the missile.
Lean is has that medallion like kind of biting on it and teeth.
Use this pistol to throw against each incoming missile, but note that unlike regular attacks here, the gunner may try to gun down multiple missiles per combat round with the penalty noted above. Oh, okay. So if you're shooting on a salvo, there's like a separate penalty to it, but you can do what you're saying. You can take them out by the number of effect. But if you're targeting a single missile like this, you don't have that, which we didn't roll that anyway, so it doesn't matter. So you're doing it. Basically, this is fine. We're doing it right, no matter what.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, there's my 3 rolls.
Using basic
nice.
rolls.
I think you remove one missile per effect. So I think we got it.
Launch the canisters to serve as defensive. Okay, I got you. All right, cool. So, yep, that means that let me pull this bad boy up. The missile comes streaking in. Now alarm is blaring, and before it gets like even really that close, Lean, you sit down at the console. It's locked in on there. You can see you're going to have to correct manually for the flow. The first few rounds fly out, and you can tell they're not going to hit. But you manage to clip it with last few in the set, and it's like when we spend like one round of ammunition, it's like dozens, right? Because the whole thing is just like a Gatling. There's tons of stuff is flying out here into space, and you see that you basically aim this hose of high-speed metal out into space, kind of lagging behind the dodging missile as it spikes of movement make it move up and down, left and right within its frame of reference to you, given how adaptive it is. And as it dodges up and then back down once you catch it, kind of by changing the pattern and strafe across it, and it blows up in space, leaving a shattering of debris flying in your direction, but nothing that will damage the armor of the vessel. And you'll likely do well out of the way.
Pump.
All right.
300-year-old fist pump or 400-year-old
Yeah, that
fist
was
pump.
incredible.
You are now being actively targeted, you can see. Still.
Well, that was good. That was good.
And
What do you do?
I want to try to
Oh my
I want
goodness,
to
the fuck out of this.
I want to try to send a message to the other ship.
I like that idea. I like that.
Okay.
Try anything.
Yeah. You're broadcasting
Another
wide, or are
ship.
you gonna try and do a comms laser? No, a comms laser.
I'll do wide.
All right. So that, remember, wide goes basically the whole solar system.
Oh, there's no way to sort of
That would be the
attenuate it
laser.
down to be more local.
Comms laser is type beam to ship, and then there's just a broadcast on radio, which it's radio waves, right? It's it's just radio like we talked to today. So somebody that's
right,
a million kilometers away is going to be able to hear it.
but you can't low power, reduce.
I mean,
the
you
power.
can. It's not like it's like a high power broadcast that everybody's going to pick up constantly. Otherwise, it would be just constant chatter on all channels,
right
in the solar system. But
The
if people were, it means if people were actively listening, they're going to find it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. In that vein, let's type beam the other ship first.
Okay. Give me a comms roll. It is your turn, by the way. So they went and you shot down their missiles, so it's your turn.
What is it? Can we figure how much ammo I used in that volley?
We already subtracted it.
Okay.
You can see it on the ship sheet.
But it should have
Technically,
been
it costs
9.
nine.
It should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It costs 9, but each of those 9, like we said, is like 100 or something like that, right?
Yeah. Right.
Or like 100 little darts or whatever.
Yeah. All right. I got a 10. Comms.
Oh, okay, I see. Sorry. Yeah, that's no problem. You're able to lock comms laser on, and you think you get a message through. What do you say?
Hello, hey, this is Paris Harkra. We are of the Jolene's Folly. What the hell? We're under attack. Can you help us? We're just a cargo vessel. They're shooting missiles at us. Help!
I assume that went to the non-aggressive ship behind us.
Yes.
Yeah, they were doing tight beam
the
to it.
other mystery ship.
Okay.
The one not shooting missiles at us currently.
I think that calls for a persuade roll. In this case, probably because they're basically you're in a fishy place. They can see what's happening, and they have certain things going on. I think that would be not a social, maybe a charm.
Okay, persuade charm.
Yeah, or maybe actually persuade int. In this case,
Okay.
Would social work? He used his name, or she used her name.
Well, that's better than anything else.
so that's fair. Social could work if they were known enough to matter in this region, but they're not known in this region.
Excuse
So
me?
because social goes up and down based off of region and who you are and stuff. So their name isn't the thing. The name isn't the thing that's meaning anything here. It's basically the way that they're calling for help, the way that they're doing performing a mayday, and the region you're in and stuff. And if people believe that they're like, is that a smuggler out there or what, or whatever is going on, right? Are they
Just keep that
believable?
in mind. Your name might have weight somewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I tell myself in the mirror every morning.
Yeah, I would say
So,
charm or
I'm in.
int, one of those two.
Okay, here we go. Uh-oh, those are big numbers.
All right.
6.
Okay.
All right, and then I don't know if my next thing I would like to do would be to comm to the other ship, but I don't know the timing of that.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that this turn. All right. 2 fast movers leave the lead ship towards you.
It's more, 2 more coming in. Get him!
Paris. If I can target them, that is. I might wait till they're.
Yeah,
You're
they're
at-
close range. It's
You're
basically
at
right away.
range to where it's almost right away. They move very fast compared to
Oh
ships.
lord, I'm firing.
So you pretty much, to do point defense when they're at this close of a range, you have to roll basically as soon as I make the attack.
Okay, cool. I'm in the seat, so I'm firing away. As soon as I see those little red pings start getting closer.
All right. So I only make my attack if you fail all yours, basically.
Full auto, get her done.
All right, that would be 2d6
2d6 plus 2
3
3 times. Yeah. You're gonna want some raises here. I promise you. If you got any way to get your dice up, you might want to do it. These are 2 mean missiles coming in. All right, what we got?
Keep them rolling. Uh-oh, you're gonna want to get a 10 right now. You want to roll 10. Boom.
Use your thing.
Listen.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
All right.
So that's a reroll?
Yeah. Ignore the
Nah,
last
then
one.
you
and
would
just
roll
re-roll.
this last attack as a moon roll.
There you go. 13.
Nice.
Holy shit, nice.
Needed that.
All right, so once again the fire strafing across the blackness of space here, little essentially like almost tracers, allowing you to see the stream of fire every now and then on sensors. You're not really looking at it as much with your naked eye as you are controlling things on a screen here, and zooming in as much as you can, controlling the angle of the camera and stuff to try and get the best you can, using as much of the automation as you can as well. And subtract 9 from the ammo pool on the ship. You just click the little negative arrow or the negative thing 9 times. But it strafes across the 2 missiles and almost catches them as they're kind of crossing paths. And as one detonates, bits of shrapnel hit the other, and both are gone.
Yeah, that was close. Great
And
work.
I will say those got like pretty close. Those were like up here as they were getting blown up. Those were like really close. Well, let's go back to here so that people can see back home a little bit more. There you
What do
go.
you think? Why are they attacking us?
Both were shot down.
Because they're assholes.
That's their turn.
Well, I can hail them. All right, I will try to make a beam to the other ship.
Good.
You can't talk to the others. Tell them we got radioactive cargo.
This is Paris Hargrove, the Darlene's Folly. What the fuck are you guys doing? We're just a cargo ship. We have a bunch of radioactive junk. Stop firing.
Like that.
Are you still moving at single thrust?
Well, I mean, I haven't changed anything, so yeah.
So that will put them Yeah, so on their next turn they'll close to short range. The ship, I mean. As you lock tight beam on them, you're pretty sure you managed to get your message across to them. Yeah. A roll reaction. Go ahead and make me, I would say in this case, another persuasion. This is going to be a hard roll. This one I think has to be charm.
Come on, no whammies. None.
Oof.
Not a small.
-1 effect. All right. There's no response on comms. You can still do stuff though on your turn here. And we are doing the simplified version of it now until we get more complicated. So I'm just skip to this. Maneuvers. Yeah, so in the actions. So if you want to fire on them, you can. If you want to try and do an electronic warfare roll, you can't because you just used your sensors. Or you just use comms. So yeah, those are actually separate. So you can do the sensor stuff. So do you want to try and do any electronic warfare stuff, or are there any actions that you'd like to do?
I was just looking at that. Let me look at the options here.
You can overload, as engineering can overload the drive if you want to go faster. You can repair stuff that you haven't been hit yet. You can reload the turret, but the turret isn't out of ammo. Once you are out of ammo, you won't be able to fire. You have to spend the turn to reload. See how that works? You have 120 ammo left. Come on, Bailey, stun the captain and take control like a madman. That's what Daniel says. Stun the captain. Boarding action, you're not close enough for yet. Yeah, so
board them before they board us.
So basically, the things you can do are. Yeah, point defense is always a reaction, so you can fire weapons, do a boarding action, do electronics warfare, reload the gun, or overload the drive or power plant.
I would do a sensor lock on them.
Okay. Yep, that's sensors.
Okay.
Sensor lock. That gives you pluses.
Lock. Basically, any of our attacks would be +2 until they break the lock.
Yep. And that gives you more information about the vessel. That is, you can now see, now that you have it properly locked and are using and stuff as well. You can see that any semblance of a name or identification or whatever is missing on it. But it does seem like almost a pretty old vessel, like an older pirate frigate, basically. Not too uncommon in the belt, but where you were at would be a very uncommon place to do piracy. So it's like they were probably, if they're out there doing piracy, they might be, yeah. If they were out there, it might be more about happenstance, or they might have just been curious about who the fuck you were, thinking you were smugglers. It'd be hard to say, but it does look like a pirate vessel as far as you can tell.
A weird time to start piloting.
Hey,
when
Lunatic.
it goes off at a random place.
Yeah, well, it's more about like something that flushed everybody out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it does seem odd.
Yeah. Well, they weren't. They literally weren't doing that. They were following you to see if you had something to do with it, or as far as you know. But then,
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. Yeah, but
and then you
And
you
then-
opened your FFID, and they're like, "Oh, this is a Solobek ship." So now we're here.
you son of a bitch. They couldn't tell from my voice that I would never work for a megacorp.
You didn't subtract the ammo from the ship for the last volley.
Oh, what
Yeah,
was it?
we volleyed twice only, right? Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah, you've only subtracted once.
Yeah.
It's on the double turret Gatling. You need to lower the ammo by 9.
What did we?
I see it at 42.
Yeah,
Out
what
of
did we
60.
start with? Yeah, it should be. It looks good. Yeah, I see 42.
Okay, it wasn't 42 when I
That's
just
right.
looked at it, but maybe it is now. Let's see.
May have done it.
Okay, yeah, now I see it.
42 is correct.
42 is correct.
Okay.
All right. Well, I don't know what you guys could do. Should we give it the juice, Bailey?
They can outrun us easy. I'll switch to wide broadcast.
Holy shit.
And announce Mayday, Mayday. This is Solopek Industries hauler Jolene's Folly under attack by unknown pirate frigate.
Flips class.
Are you gonna be able to explain our coordinates, like what we're doing out here?
You're broadcasting.
Well, it's too late now.
You're broadcasting video there as well, or just
Of their ship, if I can. Yeah, sure.
I meant like a view talking, but you can broadcast their ship if you want as well.
I'll send a picture of their ship shooting at us, hopefully.
Okay. Cool. 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna have you make a roll, Bailey.
All right.
I think in this case, based off of what it is, it's related to your history in the military. When were you remind me which particular service you were working for?
Navy.
Right, but like which particular Navy was it? Like,
Oh, Solara Corporation.
okay. Okay. So yeah. That's a Jovian Corp. So you spent a lot of time in your military time in the Jovian system, as well as coming between the belt and stuff too. Then that would be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So make me a persuade. But I think this is gonna be. This can't be charm. This has to be either, I would say, int or social.
Average difficulty?
And in this area, your social should be a 10, by the way.
Ooh, neat.
I don't know what it is where you were. I think it was 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mars it should be like a 9. In the Jovian system, it should be a 10. I don't know if that improves your score or not. I don't think it actually does.
It doesn't until 12.
Yeah. But just to note, it's +1.
What about the difficulty for the roll?
Average.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Okay, effect 4. Second. All right, tight beam opens up to you. You accept.
Yeah. Who's it from?
The vessel behind the pirate frigate.
Ooh.
They open up tight beam to you and begin broadcasting FFID signature immediately.
LeChuck.
That's funny. All right.
Which one communicate with us first?
The one in
mystery
the
ship.
back. The one that you talked to before,
Yeah.
or tried to.
The unknown mystery ship.
It's still zoomed in on the screen.
Comms is tight. My comms are tight.
I want to move them all close enough so they can be seen on the screen. No, they're not actually quite this close. Yeah, so everything's nice and visible for now anyway. This vessel now broadcasting FFID. You see the other vessel react in thrust immediately, changing its vector as though they didn't know they were there. And Titan Beam opens up to you.
Jolene's Folly, this is the address. Sorry there, thought you were a smuggler. Been tracking a few baddies out here recently. No worries. Welcome home. See if we can't get this gnat off your back.
My God. That's nice. That's clutch.
And you see now a Agamemnon class carrier launching a set of 10 fighters.
Oh, a big boy.
Yeah, it's a big ass ship.
Releasing
By the way,
how many
Babylon
fighters?
5 reference. Agamemnon was an awesome ship in Bab 5. It's releasing 10 fighters, 5 on each side.
Dude, badass.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do 5 heavies instead of 10 lights. So it's less things. Nah, fuck it. I'll put the lights out. Put the lights out. Let's drag them out here. Wait, I gotta change this thing. I forgot. I messed it up. There it goes. Alright, so these are flight groups. So these are 2 flight groups of of fighters in formation, not 2 fighters. You can see they have launched on each side 5 fighters each, two groups of Starhawk class light fighters. And they act on the same turn, or they act on the next turn of this vessel. So the Atreus is going to now launch weapons. So let's see, what do we got here? Okay, they begin firing Gatling cannons and 6 missiles.
Are the baddies at the carrier or the carrier at the baddies?
Carrier at the baddies.
Nice, love that.
Yeah, they're fucking them up for us.
And so the missiles are within range. The frigate has to PDC the missiles. Okay, let's roll for that. So 6 times a bit. 2, 3. Okay, so they shot down the first volley of missiles that were coming at them, but it was very close. Lots of explosions happening. It's just bedlam behind you now. The fighters don't get to go until the carrier group's next turn. So now that puts it down on. Let's see, so now it's the frigate's turn, who is going to fire a full salvo of missiles. So how many is it able to shoot? Let's see, double, so it can shoot. How many missiles is that on the double? Just the 2. Okay. Launches 2 missiles and begins shooting double Gatlings at it. It's also +3. Gatlings. 6. Okay, so that does. So you can see the carrier group is hit from the Gatling. The frigate does get some shots in from the onto the carrier, but it likely didn't pierce the armor. Yeah, seems okay so far. Still okay. All right, and then now it's your turn. What do you do?
Is there any more missiles on us inbound?
Not coming at us.
Not coming at you. There's a lot of missiles
Sure.
out now. There's like 12 missiles that just got launched, but they're launching at each other now. Whereas the fighters are the 2 fighter groups are coming around from both sides to try and get around, kind of in between you and the frigate.
I think we. Oh my God, they're helping us. Thank God.
Oh, I think we might have gotten out of this.
Maybe we just stay out of it. Yeah.
They are firing missiles in all directions, and it's not us.
Yeah. Give them a second. They're gonna get these guys. At least get them out of here.
I'll say, since you got such a good view of them all now too, you can see that this is this carrier group would have been out of Ganymede, so it's probably coming from where you're going, not Prospera specifically, but
Right.
the Ganymede subsystem. That's why I gave you so many bonuses on your roll there, Bailey, because you are basically from a sister military to this carrier group.
That's crazy. That's so good. I was wondering why your social was higher here.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys do on your turn? It's your turn.
On
Thank you.
chill.
Sit
Burn. You
tight.
can shoot. You can do whatever you want.
I think we just wait.
Okay.
Yeah, defensive posture.
Evasive maneuvers.
I don't think so, unless they're
Not evasive, just
unless we see him taking aim
holding
at us.
fire and waiting
Okay.
for missiles to come us.
That puts it back to the carrier group's turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. How fast are these fighters? Holy shit. Holy shit. Light fighters are
Fast.
insane.
Yeah, I remember we had fought those last campaign. They're no joke.
Wow. Yeah, they are literally just between. They're already between you and the frigate. They just whip around. They're almost as fast as missiles. So you see this frigate now surrounded on all sides. Now the carrier on one side and the two groups of fighters on others, kind of creating a blockade between you and them. And they're all going to fire, the fighters that is, first, because they act first here. Let's see, what are these? Oh yeah, it's just all Gatling Gauss, single Gatling Gauss. With the pilot skill. Plus the ship. So that's 4. So that's 6 plus 4. Oh yeah, and there's 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god. It's crazy when you have
dice
fighters.
flying on the screen. Yeah.
That's what happens when you have 10 fighters. Okay, so I just gotta count my raisins here. Or not raisins, my effects.
Referee problems, am I right?
Yeah, turning on that RFID was the best decision in that fight.
Okay.
But I thought that they might not be with them.
Armor piercing.
It's either that or let them board us.
2
So we didn't have any choices.
on each. So the ship has armor 3. So each of these subtracts just 1 because the ammo is armor piercing 2. Oh yeah. I gotta find the critical table.
Oh boy.
The fighters are fucking this thing up. Well, let me fire for the carrier.
Table's 170.
All right, thank you. Carrier's not gonna fire missiles in this range because their boys are out there circling now, but they are gonna throw some.
Back in town.
Yeah, they're gonna throw some Gatling Gauss that way.
Gatling. They got Gatling. Gauss rifles.
Gatling Gauss. That's the same thing you have as Gatling Gauss cannon.
Oh, okay.
It's basically our version of PDCs. Makes 9 attacks because they're all auto 3. I see. This is everybody. All right. Yeah. Where's the, what page was it?
170.
Which one?
170.
171.
171.
In the book, it's labeled as 170, but in the
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
in the PDF, you have to type page number 171.
Thank you. So I just gotta roll the. Well, there are multiple crits, so. 2D, then just location, yeah. Sorry it's taking us so long to get through the ship combat, but it's the first time we've done it forever. It's a lot of things at once, but it's why I made it like a simpler thing instead of just like an actual tense one. He's not flying casually, I just saw that. Alright, so I just roll on this table 3 times. So what are my numbers here? A 9, a 6, and a 5. Oh, they don't have that, so I guess you skip to the next one. I see. Okay. Oh, could you skip that too, because we don't have that.
Oh, I guess location would be previous page, but
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Figure out the location now. I'm figuring out the damage severity.
yeah, that's the chart I was looking at.
All right, you see one of the weapon mounts is destroyed on the frigate, blown off. In addition to that, you see a large hole is blown in the side of it. Somebody roll me 3D.
Bowman?
It's 3D damage. This is
Really?
additional hull damage.
All right, I'll do it.
I'm just letting you guys get on the rolling action. All right, 11 more.
Pow.
And then now roll me 1D, then 2D. So 4 of them also take 6 damage inside. The people inside the ship.
Yeah.
What is this all at now? So that's holy fuck. Okay. Then he took additional 11. So they are not destroyed, but their engines are broken. They're trying to get away. Their engines aren't working quite as well as they should be. Their ship is almost dead. It's not quite maneuvering the way you would expect it to do so, and that's because they have a crew of 4, and a lot of them aren't doing. You damaged all 4 of them for 6 points. So they're not floating dead in space, but there's no point in dragging this out any longer than we have to. The ship is pounded by these 10 fighters several more times before engines go down, and you see the fighter groups reform with the Atreus. The Atreus now tight beams you once more. I assume you accept?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Jolene's Folly, this is the Atreus. How y'all doing over there now?
Oh my God, you saved us. Thank you so much.
I want to apologize about that delay. I was thinking you was another smuggler out here. I'm keeping track, but that first message you sent just seemed like it might have been a trick. I want to apologize to you for that, but seems like
Oh
everything's in
no,
order.
thank you, lifesavers.
Any
You
service
totally
we
saved
could
us.
render?
No, we luckily fended off their missiles, so we're just head on our way. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
So you're registered here with Solarbeck Industries. You come in from that mining accident?
No, not exactly, but we did see something there. Some sort of big explosion. What's that?
You wouldn't mind submitting to just a routine scan there, would you?
I'll kind of glance around.
Saying no.
No, I mean, no. Feel free. I guess it's the least we could do. And I'll sort of giggle.
All right, no worries. We're gonna send one of our fighter groups over to intercept. Just know they'll stay alongside you here for a little while. Just want to make sure everything's safe.
No problem. We're just what do we call us? Mercenaries.
Haulers.
But like we don't own the ship. We're just
Free
on the job.
traders.
Contract.
Contractors.
Yeah, say we're just we're on a contract job, heading on to Ganymede. We do have some radioactive junk in the back. But yeah, do your thing, no problem. Thank you again.
Ways to avoid the cargo when they're doing their scans on the back. If you got hazardous cargo, we don't want them getting too close, but it's fine. We know how to handle ourselves. Don't worry.
And I was just kind of, so are we good on the crate? It should be shielded, I guess.
Should be fine.
You can see one of the fighter
Yeah,
groups,
I
the
would
5
think so.
fighters, redirects before entering the Atreus, and comes towards you. 1 above, 2 on either side, and 2 down below, and almost like a star type formation around you for a moment here. You can see as they're much faster than you, they all kind of turn and are facing you multiple times as several active scans begin. What do you do?
Well, I guess in our combined professional opinions, is this crate seem to have any sort of shielding?
We didn't even open the crate, did we?
Never
Right, I
opened
think
it,
we're
no.
not supposed to open the crate.
You have,
right?
you have
I
not
think-
opened it.
But our instructions included not opening it?
They didn't specifically say that, but they suggested, maybe not.
Okay. All I can think to do is to like push this back into the radioactive materials to like maybe mask any kind of weird
Yeah, that's the
alien tech.
Absolutely.
Shit, why not? Okay.
Oh, we've got
real gentleman we got, I guess.
we got a boon of
I'll
fate
go
for Bailey. here
irradiate
now.
myself.
We got a boon of fate purchased for Bailey by Lunatic. So
All right,
ahead
well I
and
will do that. I mean, I guess where's the crate now?
should appear. Give it a
I
minute.
have no idea where we put it. I don't remember.
I mean, we would already be kind of in the cargo hold.
So you have these external bubbles that are basically connected to the outside of the vessel. You
Oh,
also
right.
have in a kind of a spine that goes down the middle that you can go between. It's very tight through there.
Mhm.
That's a high hazard area because it's near all the
Yeah.
places, all the dangerous cargo stuff. Then in that area, you've also got a few places where you can put some smaller, off to the
Okay.
sides, basically in the same place that the other things are. They're just connected to the spine, but it's not a safe place to be no matter what because of the cargo you're carrying right now.
Right.
Probably would have just strapped it down near the engine then.
All right, I think it's too late anyway, and definitely don't have time to get my suit on and not die of radiation. So we'll leave it. Scan away. Scan away, brother.
They're already out there scanning you as far as you
I
can
know.
tell. here. About 30 minutes go by, an hour, and they're just riding alongside, kind of escorting you basically for part of the journey. The Atreus, not following along, but kind of paralleling a little bit. And you can see they are sending like different signals and pings and scans and stuff out around. Then after about another hour or so, one of the fighters in the group kind of strafes out around the front and underneath, and then they all kind of gather up towards one side, and you get tight beamed from the Atreus.
Alright, everything seems clear here. You be careful now.
Well, we're thank you so much. Like I said, we're heading on to Ganymede, so maybe we'll see you out here. Thank you so much. We feel safe knowing you're out here. Thank you.
Feel free to directly report if you see anything odd out here. Still looking for those terrorists, whoever they are.
Terrorists? Jeez. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
That's the claims they're making. Guess we'll see. Trace out.
Phew.
Yeah, I can breathe
Too
again.
easy. Too easy.
Yeah.
Those
I'm gonna
rolls
get out
were
of the gunner
close.
seat and just
Luckily we got that boon.
look at the
Just
crew.
in time.
I'm gonna slap Omen on the shoulder.
All right.
I'm a punch
Harris.
Harris in the arm too.
I mean, Terrace is a good cover story, but
I think we're terrorists
Weird.
now, I guess.
That wasn't us.
Hey. Well, yeah, but it was us.
It was.
I mean, not us exactly,
Oh,
but
we were there.
it's that weird ass,
I mean,
those
yeah,
weird
we were
alien
there.
fuckers. Serious dudes.
It's crazy.
We were in the wrong place at the wrong time for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna put two and two together. They know we're here now. They know we were leaving the general vicinity, and there's only so many ships. Yeah, what a shitty misunderstanding. Cause yeah, we definitely look suspicious not having our thing on.
I mean, easy mistake, I guess.
We
It
can just-
happens.
I mean, honestly, we were scared for our life. You know, we didn't do it because we were being followed.
We can honestly claim we were passing by that area because it's out of the way and we had sensitive cargo.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. I was just saying, I wanted a space rock. It was my dream.
You will note now, after all of the trouble and the intensity of the situation has died down a little bit, that they claimed that it was a mining base and 16 miners were killed.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely was not a mining base.
Right, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
And you doubt that there were 16 people there.
Yeah, I figure that's a cover story for sure.
Sure.
But still, someone, even if the authorities aren't, someone's gonna be wondering who was around. I imagine that high tech ship.
I'll
would not,
also give you this. Make me an int. I think in this case it would be int deception.
For who?
It's
Paris, because they were the one doing the talking in that last conversation.
one of my specialities, so do it.
Yeah, with
Okay.
Infected
Infected
1, you can tell that the captain of that ship wasn't saying all that he knew. Like you can tell he didn't believe the cover story of the terrorist thing, and he was kind of
Right. Okay.
fishing for details from you, like, hey, captain to
Yeah.
captain, is there a
Yeah.
pilot to pilot, whatever, ship to ship, you guys hear anything kind of out here? Like, there wasn't actual genuine curiosity in his voice,
Yeah.
but
right.
also a weariness, like he's like tired of this shit. But that would make some contextual information. You kind of would know, like, there's been that uprising really recently here. There's a new provisional government. So any of the military vessels and stuff that are getting adopted now into the new sovereignty that is becoming essentially the Jovian alliance of different governments are stretched very thin, and are very undermanned.
In terms of the asteroid belt, is
Undersupplied, I should say.
that considered kind of neutral territory? Is that
Yes, yeah.
actively patrolled by everybody?
It's not like in the Expanse where there's like the OPA that represents kind of like the people that live there. It's more like the people in the Jovian system are now becoming sort of a sovereignty between all these different megacorps that were there. The belt is sort of, it's such a big area that stretches across the entirety of the solar system that it's not really, it doesn't have a singular identity or anything like that. It's sort of like,
But it's not like Mars doesn't like kind of treat it as its backyard.
oh, it certainly does, parts of it, right? They kind of all do, though. It's like the Wild West, but
That's
all
what
the,
I meant.
all the
Okay, yeah,
corps are
okay.
fighting over it, yeah, because there's
Got
shit
it,
tons of
okay.
resources there and stuff, and it's way easier to get to those than it is to get to the resources out in the Oort Cloud and stuff, which is even
Sure.
better, but it's way harder to get there and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we mosey then. I'll sit down and start a shift if anybody wants to rotate out.
Go ahead and make me a 2d6 roll, please.
Lean, go ahead and get your rest.
Just pure straight 2d6 for this.
Nice flying back there.
11
Paris.
Ts.
Good job on
What's that?
comms.
What's that?
Good job on comms, Paris.
Thank you. Wow, yeah, it was a great job, everybody. We handled ourselves well considering we were almost fucked there.
Yeah, how are you liking life as a traveler, huh?
I don't know. I just numb at this point, I guess. Need
Do
time to
it.
process everything.
Lived until you've had a missile shot at you.
I punch her in the arm again, and then I'll go to my bunk.
I'm hoping it gets easier once we get our own ship and out of this mess. And I kind of instinctually glance at Bailey, just
Our ship's gonna be better
what
for
the
sure.
fuck. Well, not that. Just like we're in this. It's this clandestine mission that's really like making everything so murky.
It's a little risky, Bailey, but we appreciate the
Yeah, no,
the lead.
it's gonna be amazing when the payoff hits.
All right, you rolled an 11 there.
Yeah.
You go ahead and give me a sensors roll, please. Just sensors int or education, your choice. Act one. You get, these are active sweeps. Your FFID is loud and clear. You're in the broadcast. You do detect several. Now that you're actively pinging and sweeping, you detect several other vessels in the region. None within combat range or anything like that, but very far distances. There are a number of natural objects, of course, that you detect as you're really starting to leave the belt itself now. You're starting to get out of there. But if time goes by and the natural objects become less and less, but there are still a few unnaturals, a few artificial objects that you see out here. small ships, some of them not moving, maybe not having moved or just been caught in some random swing of gravity for long periods of time. Since your sensors are active, you can actually see a few of these are the old tea kettle propulsion methods, so they would have been on long hauls. And when they mean long, they really mean long. Those are the ships that would take many as 8-9 months to get between Mars and Jupiter. But it's still fast for us nowadays. But from your perspective, it's like the old sailing vessels. From our perspective, if that makes sense. And there's sort of a listful romanticism that kind of wells up as you pass by what are clearly old derelicts of some of these, having long been salvaged and left to some strange orbital pattern. Nothing close by, just on the very distant rings of your active sensor scans on a effective +1. Nothing that stands out as particularly interesting. You do catch a few plumes of other passersby, most with FFIDs, a couple without, but nothing within combat range. Nothing close enough to identify directly the make of the ship or the class, except for those that are broadcasting. And those aren't the ones you usually have to worry about. But things slow down. The journey continues. From here on out, after having left the occasional cover of the asteroid belt, it's a long trip and a quiet one. The Ganymede system. We would like to roll an interlude. I can roll to see who it is, but somebody can volunteer an interlude if they would like.
I'll roll for an interlude.
All right. Roll me a d4. Let me find that PDF. Why is it always so hard to find these?
My cat was loafing on the ground over here next to me, and she kind of stood up, arched her back, yawned, and then just flopped over.
To be a cat. All right, so you rolled a 2. All right, that's this category here. Now roll a d3. Two again. Right. Wow, that's fucking great. Okay. So this is a backstory interlude. So it's something from your past, right? It's basically you'll tell a story or whatever of something that happened in your past from your character. This one is
so perfect.
This is perfect, especially because the prompt is one of the ones that I wrote before. It says, you did a job that went sideways at some point. What was that job and how did it go sideways? And so it's like perfect because the shit's going sideways as fuck right now for you. Anyway,
right.
so that's the prompt.
Yeah.
That's the prompt.
So-
Feel free. And you can bring before you start. Remember, it's in character, obviously. Blah blah blah. I know you know that, but like I'm just reminding you. And you can pull somebody else into the interlude if you want. If you pull somebody else in, you can both earn a boon. The only other person right now that doesn't have one is Paris. So if you wanted to generate 2 boons, you would want to pull Paris in. That's the mechanics side of it.
Does Isaac have one?
I thought he spent his.
Thought you might need it if the scan went badly. Yeah, that's a good point. We're gonna tick.
All right, so
Never bad for them to have it, especially because they're about to do something really dangerous.
I will bring Paris into this, but only briefly. I'm going to. I guess you'll see. I'm.
Do whatever you want,
This
man.
is our chance to DM a little. So
Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
you see the interior of a rather well lit, old technology, but sterile in appearance structure. As the camera kind of focuses in on the scene here, you start to pick out that it's a bar on Luna, based on the architecture and familiar lighting. But you'll see Paris and a young Lean, fresh 18, and you see Lean slam back the last half of her drink, slams it on the counter. She's grinning from ear to ear and kind of just full of exuberant energy. You can see just coming out. And Paris next to her. Yeah, I'm glad I met you, Paris. I feel a kindred spirit in you for some reason.
Oh my god, yeah, this has been great.
Can't believe. I don't know how long you plan on staying here, but I'm trying to get off this rock as soon as I can, honestly.
I know it's so amazing, but you have to we have to stay in touch, like for real.
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? Of course, no matter what. You know, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna have my own ship one day. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be part of the main crew. Trader ship. Just wait. You're gonna see. Next time I see you, it's gonna be different.
Sounds incredible. You're just doing them.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta go for it. And from there, the bartender sets down another drink and leaves the bottle behind. And we're gonna flash forward in time a little bit. Lean looking a little older, closer in age to current day.
She was 18 in that last scene, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is about,
That was 16 years ago.
yeah. This is almost present day where we are now, and you'll see a dimly lit, almost like red industrial lighting. This greasy, sweatbox looking hauler. This interior of this brutalistic cargo hauler. You see the name Bambi in block letters stamped onto parts of this vessel, this interior. You hear a lot of noise. You hear a lot of laughing. A few burps, loud belches, some clinking glass or tins, I would say. And we see a group of rather greasy, sweaty, blue-collar mechanic type, like rough, scarred up kind of people you see at a bar and you don't really want to talk to, but here they are laughing, having a good time, telling jokes with each other. You see them punching each other's arms after a good joke. You see this skinny little, well, compared to the others around her, the only woman on this crew, Lean, stuck right in the middle of this conversation, this happy, jovial. Looks like they've gathered here. There's a few cargo crates scattered around where it wouldn't fit in the cargo bay, and they're having a good time, laughing, joking. You see Lean punching people into the arm as hard as they're punching her back. They're slamming drinks. And you hear, "Ow, this, I don't know where they got the lead for this one, but I think with the payout from this, we could live on vacation for quite a bit." Lean, I don't know anything about this job, but everyone's talking about it like it's going to change things. I'm just here for the ride, as long as we get our pay for a good day's work. You know, I'm here for it. And then we'll flash forward just a little bit more in time. And I don't have to describe it too much, actually, because I've already described this scene. Harris has seen this scene. In the cargo hold of the same vessel, you could tell from the lighting and the scuff painting on the or lettering on the walls, and skid marks from the crates being shoved in. The line of the crew that you just seen now, all shaken and pale and sweating, with what appears to be some sort of task force and what's possibly illegal contraband pouring out of the same crates that you had seen in the previous flashback. I won't really go into detail. You kind of figure that job didn't go too well for Lean or the crew. I will say, though, I will flash forward a little bit more. We're on a station now, not on a ship. And you see members of the crew that we're familiar with now, and Lean, not all the crew. Some of the crew have like bags, luggage, duffel bags full of their stuff, it looks like. You see a few of them gather around. Well, I'm not sure what y'all are gonna do, but probably gonna find more work on another free merchant vessel out there. I don't know. They always could use a guy to lift the crates, right? And Lean looking kind of like forlorn. The rest of the group will kind of, or a few members of the group, some of the ones that you'd seen Lean kind of like closer to in the previous flashbacks. They'll say, one of them looks at her and says, "Leanie, I know you're kind of sour from all this. Kind of shook a lot of us up. You talked about not really wanting to get back on another ship, but me and a few of the other guys here, we've been kind of saving up. It was for you. It was always for you. We knew you weren't gonna want to stay on our sweaty ship for too long. We knew you wanted your own ship. Over the past couple years, we've been stashing away a few creds. Or ship. Or you. I don't know. If you ever change your mind, try and find us." You see Lean kind of like grab her little medallion. You see a tear fall down her greased up face. And I'll end it there.
Okay. I will add one thing to that. In the scene where you were on the ship kind of partying and having fun with these people, there would be one guy, like a black guy, pretty large. He wouldn't have his shirt on because he's like hot or something. Moment like he's pulled it off. A bald head, and somebody has stuck a plunger to the back of his head, and he's like, "Get it off! Get it off!" in the background. And that is a person that you know. So I will let you come up with a name for them, and you can DM it to me later.
Okay.
All right. That is the end of the interlude. You can earn yourself a boon. Both of you and Paris can have a boon. So, give them to each of you. There they are. It worked. Excellent. And the rest of the journey is uneventful. As now you find yourselves flashing forward basically in time. Our camera cuts to a beautiful exterior view of not Ganymede, but Jupiter, for it dominates the sky here. It's not like Earth's moon and Earth. Jupiter is much larger than Earth is. Ganymede is quite a distance from Jupiter, but even on approach, no matter which angle you approach, no matter which of Jupiter's many moons or the Trojans or anything that you approach, it simply dominates the sky. For those of you that have spent much time here, especially Bailey, you know that Jovian dominance of the sky has just become part of the kind of the centralized kind of culture of the Jovians. It's in their poetry, it's in their art, it's in their songs. They make fun of it. They incorporate it into their philosophy. It's impossible not to when you see that, when you look up. At this range, it's probably one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen if you've never seen it before. Ganymede, by comparison, is pale and simple. But its sky is beautiful. As you approach Ganymede, you get multiple pings for all of the many stations, ship platforms. Construction is done. Multiple news sources start pinging on your vid feed, commercials of all kinds, information coming in about the recent revolts, the new government, Jovian Provisional Government as it's currently being called. And it is that, provisional. At a high level, most of the reports are about their inability to control their people, their inability to set up logistics in such a way that feed their people. A lot of the media coverage is pro-corporate, pro the corporations that once ruled here not that long ago in a state of near oligarchy, till the worker class rose up, essentially. Of course, those same networks are run by those megacorps. And between the lines, it's hard to know what the truth is. But there's a lot of it. It's just hard to know which one is the true truth. Everybody's got a different truth out here. And they're all on your vid screen. Welcome to the Jovian system, the fastest growing part of Sol, and in many ways its wildest west. Ganymede lays before you. I'll need you to spend 2 burns to enter Ganymede orbit, and then an additional 2 burns to put yourself on course to Ganymede Harbor.
Alright.
Now, Ganymede Harbor is an enormous station. It's connected very loosely, quite literally, by cables and stuff in space to many construction yards. It's also connected by a large rail system to Prospera Station, the most populous station, city, really, in the Jovian system. It's the Tokyo of the Jovian hub. Ganymede has its own magnetosphere, and those that live here take advantage of it. Not only is this its largest city, it's where people come to have children, because you're less likely to have deformities here. It's where people grow their food. It's the breadbasket, the outer system. If you're past Mars and you're eating, some of that food probably came from here. Ganymede's a dangerous place because of its size, but largely due to the political instability that's now present. You spend the burns?
Yep.
All right.
Keep on rolling.
4 burns will put you into Ganymede orbit as long as you make me a successful pilot check. Pilot spacecraft.
Whatever alien artifacts in the hold would be.
All right. Oh boy. You rolled poorly, but that still was enough. No bonuses, you didn't save any fuel, but you are perfectly aligned now for orbit around Ganymede. Its surface spilling below you in these beautiful white almost hues and yellows and swirls, but the true beauty is still just there on the horizon, Jupiter itself. It's hard to take your eyes off of it. Begin your braking burn. Everybody sinks into their seat a bit. You're on course for Ganymede Harbor. Do you want to dock there? You'll need to request landing.
Quick conversation. Do we have a plan other than bribery to get the cargo past customs?
Gotta go through customs, huh? Does the company not have private docks anywhere?
There are Solobek Industries docks, yes, that you can see right on, registered on the thing. Everything is registered here at Ganymede Harbor, so there's no secret docks or anything like that. And they're not all connected, like I said. They have like little shuttles and stuff that go between a lot of them, where they're actually like building ships and stuff in many of these sort of external hangars and such. Solobek Industries has 3 here total. Now there's a lot total, right? There's like more than 100, but 3 of them are Solobeks. Like they belong specifically to Solobek. So you can go there if you want, yes. The only way to get to Prospera Station is to go down that tram, though, theoretically.
Yeah, I'll sort of point it out
through the
on
main
the screen. That dumbbell-looking thing there, the left side's the harbor. That's where we're parking.
Mm-hmm.
But the cargo needs to go across that train track there to the station itself, the proper place where the people live. The only way to get across that train is to go through customs.
basically a big tube extends between the two spinning structures.
But if we went into like a private, like the company dock, they wouldn't ask too many questions, and then we're in, and then we just take it, right?
Our best bet.
I mean, to be clear, the company docks are like adjacent to the main hub. So you'd have to get like on a shuttle and you get to the main hub. Then the main hub of Ganymede Harbor, the big spinning disc, is fine or whatever. You know, that's where like a lot of ship repairs and all that stuff is coordinated at the various shipyards. You don't hit customs until you get to the tram. Takes you across.
That would be outside of customs.
Correct.
Sounds like a terrible thing for people.
Like I
smuggling
said,
shit
my
out of the
only plan
station.
right now is bribery.
Well, it's customs on both ends of it.
Right. I mean, yeah, I guess first question is where does this unload this the radioactive stuff?
That's at one of the Solobek Industries docks, yes.
Right.
That would be on one of those 3 docks.
So we could, like, once we're there, so presumably once they're there, they're gonna have to inspect stuff.
Yeah, the cargo you're
I
bringing.
mean, the only other plan is to dock somewhere else, right? Like to try to skip. Like, is there an airlock somewhere on Prosperous? There must be, right? So just to like basically roll up and dock. That seems worse.
Yeah, that's
you
gonna
can
draw
roll
attention to us.
you can roll like a computer's check or something to try and pull up information.
Like I said, I don't
Or you
know
can try and
anyway.
scan with the ship you're in right now.
Yeah, let me scan. Can I scan?
Yeah.
That
Well,
might
your
be
choice.
a little.
Can't hurt to do a scan.
It might actually hurt.
Can scan. Could it?
I mean, you can do a sweep.
just
You don't have to
scanning
lock it on.
Prospera. Just taking a picture.
All right,
It's a
go for it.
12, brother.
All right, effect 4. So there's no way to dock a ship like yours to Prospera Station. They do have escape pod docks, escape launch docks, and maintenance airlocks.
Did bingo.
So you can see those. I will say with a effect of 4, you can see that there are like little security patrols and stuff around as well. Fine. The same type of fighter that escorted you for a little ways. It's those. It's just you see a few of them flying around out over there. Just think like Babylon 5, right? You see like you always see a couple of Star Furies outside of Babylon 5, right? It's like that here. Except they're called Star Hawks.
Okay.
And it's not one station, it's 2 stations. You're not in any rush. You've got still like a couple weeks before you even need to arrive. And it's literally there in front of you. You can scan it and stuff. How much fuel do you have left on the vessel? Yeah, I'm gonna be stopping here in a second. How much fuel do you have left, pilot?
14.
14. Okay. So just so we're clear, it'll take you another 2 fuel to do a docking maneuver, so that you have 12 fuel essentially to operate with right now for whatever you want to do. And you know, why don't we just have our camera fade away from the hull of the ship now as we see Jolene's Folly spill away into the void. Our camera tilts up and it's just utterly filled by the surface of Jupiter, with this singular horizon hanging in the corner of Ganymede and this tiny little dot that is the vessel heading towards these 2 other tiny dots of Ganymede Harbor and Prospera Station. And a few little trickles of light abound from the multiple other vessels in the crowded airspace here. We see one other oddity. As our camera moves further and further back, spills past the black mottled hull of that silent ship, hanging silently there, essentially watching. And that's where we will pick up next time.
Watching menacingly.
Aliens, man, the shadows.
All right, so I want to say thanks for everybody that came out there. Time travelers. I want to say thanks to everybody that came out to watch. Appreciate it. Everybody should go check out Lunatic Design on Drive-Thru-RPG. Always appreciate their stuff. It's cool hanging out, Lunatic. Appreciate you. The new followers, appreciate you. Gabby, Dragon, awesome stuff. Lady Fable, good to see you all. Appreciate it. Been a lot of fun. This is kind of a slow burn to get into here, but we'll be trying to smuggle some stuff into Ganymede next time we get here, so we'll see how that goes. That should be pretty fun. I want to say thanks to Syrinscape as well for the sounds you hear, as well as our music and stuff that you hear as well. Not all of it, but some of it. Great stream. We got a lot to catch up. True. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched the previous ones, it's a lot, technically, at this point, too. But yep, everybody's got a boon as well. And we're going to talk very briefly out of character just about how we're going to handle advancement stuff. I think we don't necessarily have to do that on stream, but I think people are cool enough to stick around for just a minute before we fade to credits. So I was thinking it might be easier to do the Cepheus version of the XP thing, which is what we're talking about, because that like lets me count it up more. So on that note, you guys spent the rest of that time period, that 120 hours, basically 100 of that was free time and clear and everything. So if you have any study periods you need to roll, do those now.
I think a study period is 8 weeks, so I don't think we would be.
I don't know if what you have piled up now, but probably not.
How many weeks, dude? Oh wait, it's not weeks, is it? It's like maybe 1 week.
I had 4 weeks
hours
recorded, I guess.
5 days, so
5 days, yeah. So if you had any time before that, that would have been another week.
all right, so
All right.
adding a week to this study period.
That's what I did too, so I'm 4 weeks into mine.
Right, so you get a boon to spend next time, and everybody, I'm gonna give, because that was a really deep interlude that you gave their society. I want to give everybody a bonus XP, and we'll do a 2 XP session today. So everybody gets 2 XP and any time spent on your training, and we'll see you next time. Bye.